Toivoan Trainwreck. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. We are missing Bryn. Hopefully he'll join us here shortly. A couple things before we do get started tonight, though. If you know someone who wants to play in one of my games, send my way. I'd love to talk about either getting on the wait list for a campaign slot or getting into a one-shot. I will be doing some one-shots coming up in June, so be ready for those. Those will be announced first over at the Patreon, and then subsequently in the Discord, and then on social media. In addition to that, we have the YouTube channel over at youtube.com/@thegamemastereric. Go check that out. Got tons and tons of content over there for you guys. We also have podcasts and GM tip videos every single day, so go check that stuff out. Welcome, Bryn. Glad you were able to make it. Hope everything's okay.
Yeah, I'm all set. Sorry, mate.
All good. All right. Also, we have the clip contest which is going on. The prize for the clip contest is here in my hands, and you cannot get to see it until when we do the drawing on Sunday, but it is a really cool prize. So be ready for that. Toss those clips and timestamps into the clip contest channel in Discord. You automatically enter to win that cool prize at the end of the month. We also have on the front page of gmeric.com, we have Mosama dice, Snowflake Sparkle dice, and Frostblood dice. And this Saturday evening, we are hosting Bubble Lasers, so come hang out. It's going to be a really good time. We got a great group of role players and, honestly, a ton of combat-focused players showing up on Saturday evening. It's going to be a really good time. We're going to be working in Fort Crag in Reston. It's going to be a fun time. So come hang out. It'll be a good time. But let's go ahead and get you guys started up because we got a ton of stuff to cover tonight. And you guys can play some D&D. All right, so you guys are adventuring in the lands of Toivoa. Specifically, you are way down here at what used to be Akeda and is now a double crater, as the lair of Sageos has been destroyed. You came here and did some recon last week. Did some research and talked to Rafinas. The question I have to ask you guys is, what would you like to do now?
Question.
Well, I think we're gonna need, like, a shape earth spell to get a foundation like really set. I see what's been going on so far with the foundation levels of stone here, but I think to like really set up like a foundation for like a large castle, I think we should shape stone. I think that's the best bet.
On one hand, I want to keep the the poisonous water moat. On the other, it's gonna be very tough to get, drinkable water up to the castle at this rate.
Water collection points elsewhere on the island funneled down.
You're gonna make a bunch of aqueducts? Is that what you're saying?
Ooh.
Might have to.
I love aqueducts. Those are the best kind of ducks.
I mean,
Are there non-aquatic ducks? Like land-based ducks?
Fire
I'm
ducks.
gonna be honest, I don't think we're gonna be able to build an architectural marvel all on our own.
We should hire stone workers. Architects, sorry.
Well, you need both.
I'm not against making
Given the last occupant of this island and the disaster that has befallen it, is this even a safe place to try and build a new castle?
Didn't we
Probably
cause a disaster though? Like,
We just won't break this one.
Yeah, we can build it. We're just not allowed to come back.
I mean,
that's like saying like you conquer a city and because you conquered it, it's such a disastrous zone. So like we shouldn't actually rebuild a new city.
This city is so conquerable. We should not build here.
Yeah, wait. See, Toddy gets me.
No, I bet you the next one we conquer will be much safer.
I'm not entirely against making a third coin. Just to oversee this. So
Wait,
we'll table
the
that.
architect. Shouldn't we make a second Oshin because Oshin's the stonemason?
Do we have? Does anybody in the party have the ability to have like shaped stone or wall of stone? Okay.
We're all very skilled people with the ability to develop these skills.
We've actually been stumped by like stone walls many a time in our
You can
voyage.
tear down stone
They
walls,
are
it just takes
fearsome.
time.
Like that is specifically one of our hard counters I'm finding.
Well, it is hard.
Good one.
So we lack resources here, is the main takeaway.
So how are we even going to get resources here? Like, you know, in theory, we could like teleport a bunch of stuff here, but that's going to get really expensive really quickly. We can maybe get some shipping lanes open. Maybe now that maybe we can
Where's
get what?
Oh, shipping lanes is a good idea. I was gonna say.
Yeah, why don't you get your storm god friend to help us, Bryn?
Okay, let's slow down. Let's slow down a second. Are we sure this is the? Do we really want to build a base here? Because we can. It's an island that is, its previous owner is indeed been ousted, and we could build a base here. I'm just thinking, why? Like, what would we do with it? What's?
Because we have the get out of jail free card key.
Because we earned it.
I see. That's a valid point, but also
Because
like,
I
we
want to
could-
be mayor of something because I couldn't be mayor of Nowashet.
Okay, that's a concrete reason why we would make a base here.
Ruzid can
we-
fly around and nobody will shoot him here.
That's
I
also
mean, except
true.
I mean, I already do that anyways because if they shoot me, I'm just gonna kill them.
But
I
like,
think-
do we need a castle for any of those things to happen?
I mean, we
Need
can
to make
start
you
with a
feel
tent.
good. It boosts
Like,
my ego.
Ruzid, I hereby proclaim you mayor of Ikeda. It is done. You
Great,
are.
I'm mayor of an
you are
island that's
now.
completely undeveloped, and there's a bunch. Everyone's dead here.
Glass
Well,
glass half empty over here. Jeez.
It's yours now. You can do whatever you want with it. You're the mayor.
Oh, we can bring over a flock of Maul.
Bryn,
Mal.
with
Well, okay.
With full sincerity, no, we don't need a castle. But an outpost on Akeda, especially in the aftermath of it being in control of a big evil guy, not a bad idea to have to keep tabs on the island, since it is so far out and it's in a fairly like inaccessible place. Be good to prevent further evil usage.
Maybe we take things one step at a time and get like an initial like convoy of people to show up and start doing stuff, and then
We need a new ship. And a new
My
crew.
honest opinion, I think we take rough measurements of this zone of the island. We bring that to the consortium and we, pitch setting up an outpost. Doesn't have to be a full city, not from the get-go, but this place is gonna need some hands-on TLC to get back to livable. For
No,
I mean,
it's
if we could pay the
wildlife.
consortium to set up a teleportation circle here, that'd be great. Be a good place to like get out to the further reaches of the continent.
This would be a
do we
great
have
like
this-
military training zone.
In that case, do we want it to be a consortium outpost or do we want it to be our outpost? Because if we turn over everything to the consortium, that's cool. I'm fine with them having the island, but
It could be
it's,
both.
But if it's like,
I
what's the
don't know.
consortium
Bryn
doing
makes a
for
good
it
point.
anyways?
Stop
like a whole-
stop giving the consortium stuff.
well, I'm not saying we should. I'm just saying. that
No,
if we-
I agree.
If we turned it over, if we gave them control of the island, then it would be theirs and not ours.
Well, something.
With all
that
due
would, like,
respect,
be,
Bryn, with all due respect, this is why I do the negotiating.
What?
We're not walking in and saying it's your island. We have no stake in it. Like,
Common sense would say that regardless of how the negotiations go, if we give them a stake, then they would have a stake.
yes, but
Whereas
we could negotiate what that stake is. Listen, don't tell anyone I said this, but I don't exactly have the funds to be stacking an entire island from my pockets here. So having
Oh,
a
no, we
benefactor
do.
is
We have
definitely
a
do have
nest
a-
egg for sure. Like we can
have like
start
more money
trade.
than most people on the continent. Like,
okay. Well, for
most,
clarity,
like,
yeah.
99.99% of people probably.
Okay, let me correct. We have the funds, but there's already two of me, and my hands are still actively full. So having somebody else handle that allows me to make more money elsewhere.
Something I would like to bring up here. As you all know, I'm still sitting on my one use of the wish spell, which I've been saving. I want to be very careful with this. My goal with this is to find a way to use it to bring back my town that was wiped out years ago. If it's possible, I need to do research. I need to discover what a safe way to use this wish is to get across what I'm hoping to do. But the goal is to bring the people themselves back. If that's possible, they're going to need a new place to settle. That could be an entire workforce and group that could, start working on the land and just make it a safe place. Something to put out there. I'm not about to drop that wish right now, but if we're looking for a full set of people to create a new town, I might be able to do that at some point.
Interesting.
I do think civilians might benefit more long term than giving it to another.
Is
Sounds
your
like a
lost town
dangerous
Bay?
Yes, it's other elves like myself.
Elves like you, or like elves like us?
Elves like me, Eladrin.
A town of green-haired people.
You've not spent a lot of time around Eladrin, have you? Because
Where did they get lost? I
They'd
feel
be
like I
safe from
missed the
dragons.
story.
blend
What
right in.
happened to the town?
They were killed. There's very few of them left. There's bits and pieces who we escaped years ago, and that's why we're now in the material plane. But everybody else had been wiped out at the time. If it's possible to resurrect an entire town full of people with a wish spell, I intend to find out. But for that, I'm going to need time and research and smarter people than me who have looked into things like wish spells before.
I mean, given your contributions to the party, I'm not opposed.
I mean,
To be
depending
clear, it
on
also
how far
doesn't have to
down the
be-
necromantic path he wants to take, I might be opposed.
Yeah, I would like more details of the plan.
A
But
wish could go wrong in like so many ways. It's hard to foresee how this could work.
That's why I'm not about to throw it out there right now. I like I said, I need to do research. I need to talk to people who have used wish spells, who have done themselves, research into strong wish spells. I know you guys went to like a magic college. I kind of figured at some point I'll go by there and maybe speak with high-level mages.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, no offense, but it could be better than just brainstorming here, because I feel like none of us really know what the repercussions would be, especially if I just threw wording out there.
I gotta say, I spent like a whole year at college, and I never learned anything close to the stuff that I learned in like 5 weeks sailing with coin.
put that on a mug.
That's actually really
Professor
important.
Coin.
My other question is, how many classes did you go to?
All of them. I was actually top scorer in most of my classes. I mean, the ones that I finished all the way through. I never failed a test. I'm actually really good at learning stuff. You might not know.
Very impressive. I might not know about you. I might not know how to learn things.
Some hostility.
It's not hard. You try it out. Find a teacher. Coin. I recommend Coin.
I believe it. She's the only one of us out here relearning all her same spells every time she gets knocked out.
You make a really good player, she.
I just got back to second level spells again.
But yeah, all this to say, my point is that is something I'll be working on. If any of you have any thoughts or ideas for other people who could help, and if we need people, I'm not saying just hand over an island by any means, but we could have people that could help build a city and then run it with us if we're not looking to run one. Because I don't know about you all, but I'm not quite ready to lay down the shield.
Mayor Ruzid.
So, like, if we are gonna do a deal with the consortium, what is the relationship even gonna look like? Is it gonna be like a feudal thing? Are we gonna be like vassals of the consortium? Like, what even would
Maybe
the
it'll be
deal
like a hotel, and if any of their adventurers come this way, they can give us a tithe and have a room.
like a trade deal?
Well, I mean, they would
Think agreement.
licensing the city.
That just
Indeed.
no, that sounds like vassalage. Now we're
It
back
is
to the
your-
feudal
your-
thing.
I think it's more like they have people
License.
really good at building a castle or building a bunch of buildings.
We're very distant from your microphone at the moment, Bryn.
Am I? That's not good. Okay, one moment.
He sounded surprised by that. Like, where did his
It also-
microphone go?
It is
It
far,
also
far
doesn't have to
away.
be.
It just walked off on him.
That's not good.
I was just
How
thinking
about
maybe.
now? Is this better?
It is
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was surprised because I'm right next to my computer. So I don't know why that was happening. But anyway, I think it's more that if we gave the consortium sort of I guess they'd be, if they invested anything in this island, they'd expect to get something out of it. So before we offer them the opportunity to invest in anything here, not that I'm saying we should turn them down if they want it, but I guess we should ask ourselves. Sazon's given us a really clear option for what we could do with the island, which is basically build a town that turns into a city and repopulate it with Sazon's lost kin. But is that? Well, I mean, what else would we do with it? Is it
I was-
a good place to be a trade outpost, or would it just kind of be like our private home base where we can come back to that's not connected by land to anywhere else?
I was thinking we would I was thinking we would sort of speak with the consortium, give them sort of a senatorial position to oversee production of it, and then you may be wondering what would the financial investment be. I think these senators, I would allow them to invest in this thing I'm workshopping called a stock. And so that's kind
Isn't
of the
that what they
long
lock people up in?
Come again?
Isn't that something they like lock people up into?
No, it's what the corn grows on top of.
Yeah, so there's actually, coin kind of lights up hearing that. Like, if I grew my own corn, okay, I have one consideration for how we use this land. Corn. It's for corn.
It's a very okay. To be clear, also, all of these ideas could happen. It's a very large island. We can have a city in one corner, corn over miles and miles of land, our own castle on the other end, or close to the town. Either way, like that, it's a big place.
That's very true, and I also have very strong ethical reservations about potentially resurrecting an entire village and then expecting them to perform labor for us.
Oh, to be clear, that's not what would happen. I want to be very. This is not like
definitely not.
Not
He's
That's
definitely not a
what he says.
necromancer in training.
not if Sazon. It wouldn't happen if Sazon were in charge. But I think just the way some sentences were phrased earlier.
I
I'm
think
not
that
so
they're
sure about the
just
rest.
repaying us for resurrecting them.
Plus, if you resurrect them, and that's a huge if, I suppose, but on an island in the middle of nowhere, with nothing but cornfields around them.
So where's
I
it
mean,
at?
I could very much help them get other places if they want to go there. But one thing I will say is I agree with the idea that we should have some sort of teleportation circle. I think set up somewhere else. I think that would be something good for just safety in general and just traversing the world and having a strong partnership. Keep in mind, it doesn't have to be with the consortium. We are friends of Ryport. We have good, strong connections there. If we want to maybe kind of hedge our bets, work with some other people, we can see if the town of Ryport itself wants to make some deal with us, have some sort of partnership. If they sponsored just the basic infrastructure, setting up a teleportation circle, that could be something that would be powerful for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, the more a tripod is, the most stable structure. Any venture here that's supported not only by us but also by the Longstriders Consortium and also the city-state of Rydeport.
Coin's
So-
gonna fish out Segeos' sigil from the bag of holding.
You want to test it now?
He won't interrupt anyone, but he will say, like, I would like to trigger this. Maybe put up a death ward and, telepathic bond?
This might just send you right into the center of the volcano thing. You know that, right?
Better to know now than later.
I think
Well,
best case scenario, I'm underwater, which is whatever. Worst case, I'm under rubble underwater, which is annoying. But I think I live.
Let's just to say, before we do anything we can't reverse. Is I do agree that if we build something for ourselves here, we should put it in the place where Sigeos's thing takes us.
Yeah.
So I guess was have we confirmed that, excuse me, the caldera of the volcano is sort of where the center of his lair was? Or was something else there?
No,
Eric.
this was definitely the center of his lair. We know that.
Eric, I would even like to propose perhaps an insight check here. Because Coin, knowing geography roughly, he doesn't know the layout of the castle, of course, and how high or low the sigil room was. But he probably has the best chance of anyone in the party of approximating how, was it above elevation? Was it below sea level? Could he approximate where this sigil, where the throne room of sorts was? Or is the land so unfamiliar that it would be impossible to know?
I feel like Eric thinks he's talking.
Oh, your cartography. I was talking, however, I had hit the mute on my microphone, causing it to feel very distant from me.
I felt very judged by Eric. Like, I'm like, he's been quiet for 10 seconds. Was it that dumb of a question?
It was not that dumb of a question. Eric was being
Just
dumb.
waiting for you to do the answer on your own.
I didn't feel like rattling ice into my mug during that, so I muted the microphone.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Well,
please
as
roll a
I-
survival check.
Okay.
Guidance.
Okay?
With guidance.
Well, guidance is a D4.
Guidance, like, yeah,
That is
D4.
the most powerful guidance anyone's ever seen.
I will, I'll burn a lucky. Since I
Okay.
already rolled it anyways,
Sure.
I will take the 21 and add a 4.
So with the 25, yes, the caldera, the center of the caldera is where you expect this thing to go to.
Has it cooled off by now?
Yes.
Oh, in that case, yeah, it's definitely gonna be water or rubble. That's fine, as long as you just don't burn to death instantly.
Do we want to maybe like dig it out a little bit before we try teleporting into it, just in case it like entraps him in the earth? Like that would just kind of really suck to have something bad happen after
Eric.
so much success.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to propose a disadvantage history check for something specific. We
I
know
love
it
it.
went to his throne room, correct?
Yes, sir.
Could Coin recall if there was anything notable in the throne room, like an etching on the floor, perhaps? Some sort of a circle on the ground? Something to imply this is the return point, or was it truly unknown?
You did
It
not
was a
see
you are
anything.
here sign.
I can just negate the roll. There was nothing on the floor indicating that.
Okay.
There's no reason to
Alright,
roll
well,
for something
can
that
just
is
try
impossible
it.
for you guys to gain.
Do
Then
masonry
operate up
tools help excavate? I don't know, anything.
I have an idea. Let's start by seeing what the water structure looks like. Have we established where we are exactly? Are we like here on the shore, or are we like here?
Hanging out over here.
We
You
were
guys-
just
The
hanging
one
out.
goes over there.
Last time you guys said you were going to be on the central island.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Um,
mark us here because this is kind of where his rope swing is.
I would have been building as close to the center of that as I could.
Bryn is going to try and figure out what the water structure of this looks like, and he's going to use the shape water cantrip. You can cause you choose an area of water that fits within a 5-foot cube, and one of the things is you can cause the water to form into simple shapes and or instantaneously move or change the flow of water. Bryn is basically going to try and scoop water out of the central donut and back into the big lake and see if the water level goes down, or
Okay.
if just basically see is this like little donut of water, is that just like standing water that was left from the explosion, or is it connected to the big lake somehow? Because it looks like it's at a higher
It
like
is on a higher
elevation.
elevation.
Yeah. So if I take water out of this, does the water level decrease, or is there a supply of water from
Okay.
somewhere?
So you cast shape water.
Yeah, that's the tool I have that I will try and use to answer this question.
Cool. So using
If I
that
have
tool
a-
at your disposal, you're able to
Mhm.
determine that as you move the water away, that the water refills. However, it's refilling from within the caldera, as there is a
Okay.
spring there.
Okay, that makes sense. Interesting. Okay, so this little pool of water is not going away easily.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
our boat.
I guess. Um,
The fun part is, I will go ahead and grant you this, it is fresh water.
that's handy. Never hurts to have a source of fresh water nearby. Um, So in that case, I'm not sure how much excavation we want to do here, just because it might destroy the source of fresh water. Um, hmm. I'm just trying to make the teleport safer for Coin. Because
What if-
he's immune to fall damage and he can breathe underwater. So if he
I'm
appears
gonna
in
throw it out there.
water, he's fine.
Would Tati be a better person to do this, assuming she's willing, because she can walk through solid surfaces, so that if something goes wrong, she could just walk her way out?
In the case of only rock, that is better, but in the case of underwater, that is not necessarily applicable.
Hold your breath for a pretty long time while running out, though. She could probably, assuming it's not somewhere crazy we're not expecting, you should still be
That-
pretty safe.
Comes down to what she's comfortable with, I suppose.
I'll push the button, boss.
Aye.
Well, before we do anything risky, we'll give you the full suite of support. We'll put up the telepathic bond. We'll give you bardic inspiration.
We could give him a
Point.
contingency, maybe.
Cast guidance. Do we have that?
Well,
That's not
we could
terrible.
wish for a contingency.
We could certainly put up. No, you got
I'm
it.
just saying, if we're wishing for things that are spells, it's not dangerous, and if we're gonna just rest anyways, it's not a big deal.
Coin's gonna. One, he'll safely flip the sigil to Tattoo without triggering it, I should note. And he's going to think about what kind of contingencies are possible, but I, as a player, can't really think of anything right now.
I mean, you could make a contingency to use a dimension door to teleport you back to us or something. Because in theory, we should be close to where this sigil teleports you to, right?
This requires attunement. Please hold.
Oh, okay.
Sandwich frick.
Look amongst yourselves. I'm gonna acquaint myself with the sigil.
We we currently don't have how many days until the Chrononacrum key number 1 recharges?
We spent a night on this island, correct?
Yes.
So it would be 1 day remaining.
Okay. It might be worth waiting a day, just because that's our actual get out of jail free card if something goes terribly wrong.
It is. Though I should. This is tricky because not everyone in the party knows of the next step towards Saphira. But technically speaking, Coin will just say like, "I'm not against that, and if we don't use it, even better. But we do still need to somehow figure out the Saphira plan, and if we trigger the Chrononacrum key again tomorrow, that pushes those plans even further back."
Do we have
That's
a Saphira plan?
Not necessarily.
It's
It's
true
a work in
that,
progress.
It's true that using the key would delay us if we did actually have to use it, because we'd have to wait for it to recharge before we did anything really risky. But
I guess it's best to avoid hypotheticals and just stick to what we know is useful. Which is waiting a day for the sigil.
well, I'm totally cool having a little home base in the middle of this lake. if we wanted to build stuff, like actually have a building here, it would be maybe we build it over the water, like have the water's like a little moat. We could, I guess, how big are we thinking? Because the return point of the sigil is kind of awkwardly placed. If we wanted to have a huge castle, we'd have to build it around this entire lake. If we wanted the sigil point to be at the center, or we could have the sigil point just be external to the castle if we wanted, and you just with the whole island is our safe place.
I love the bravado of us going straight for castle, but maybe we just start with like a log cabin and build and figure out the plan from there.
Canvas tent next to the sigil location.
Even better.
Does
Soon to
anybody
be
have
castle.
any
One
canvas?
day will be a castle, but canvas tent for now.
We'd have to go back to Nausha and buy some materials, regardless of what we wanted to do. We could the cheapest way to get any kind of stone building would probably be to hire a mage with access to shape stone or wall of stone, and we just once a day we teleport them here for 10 minutes. They cast spells and then teleport them back.
That's crazy. We should blindfold them so that they don't know where they're going.
Well,
Does anyone know someone with an instant fortress in their back pocket?
It can't be hard to get a hold of one of those.
No, they're just running around, I imagine.
We're amazing, and we can go all kinds of places. We can pick up a couple favors if we need to. It can't be that hard to get one.
You know.
all right. Well, I like the idea of putting up like a canvas tent to be our little home base, because this spot right here I think is actually quite safe. No land animals are going to come get us because we're surrounded by water.
And because we killed all of them. I mean, the explosions killed all of them.
That
but-
too. But, yeah, I think having our
repopulate.
we can take it one day at a time. Where just we have our little home base here that's a safe place that we can teleport to. The one downside is that if we choose to stay here, we would have to commit multiple high level spell slots for teleporting. I think right now Kyle is the only member of our party who can teleport. I will probably get teleport next level as like my final capstone thing is I get a new sorcerer spell, so I'd probably just get teleport. But yeah, might be worth if most of our business is in Nausha for now. Oh yeah, Oshin's a wizard. He can scribe scrolls. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kyle. Yeah, well, I think stone shape like makes a hole. I think wall of stone is the one we want.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. You're right. I think you're absolutely that's the best way to do it. And then just at the end of the day, if you have any 5th level spell slots left, you can build it. You get to build your own castle however you want.
Maybe we're too ambitious. Maybe we should just convert this into like sort of like a summer home. Like just come here on the weekends.
I still think it's important to clear out the seaway so that our ships can come in.
Ditto.
We don't have to decide forever right now. I think the first priority is if we want to be able to return here with the sigil, we need to make sure the sigil is going to work safely. And then, because if the sigil doesn't work for some reason, maybe if Sageos is dead and it was like linked to him and we try it and it doesn't even work, like that would be then.
Or if the recall point is like 2 meters underground.
Exactly. And if there's no way of clearing it as a home base for us, it is.
There's no such
kinda
thing as no way. We are amazing.
I'm not disputing that, but just in terms of all of our allies right now are like in the area of Nausea, and if maybe just depending on what we decide to do in the immediate future, yeah, I don't know. Just thinking out loud.
Allies in Australia. We've allies.
Here's what I think. I want to take measurements roughly of the island today. You guys obviously can do some window shopping of spots to set up tent. I think we reconvene right here in 25 hours with preparation to trigger the sigil. We could consider clearing out the spot to our capability.
25 hours?
Yeah, 25.
Why so long?
Well, I need 24 hours for the Chrononacrum key, and I'm future-proofing with the extra hour.
Oh, are we still
I might have a big
waiting
lunch.
on that before we try it?
Seems like I don't see an urgency to do it right now.
All right, fine. Should I just give this back to you then?
You're gonna kind of need it.
Oh, I'm still gonna be the one that does it though.
I mean, are you chickening out? Because I mean, I'll take it.
No, I would do it now, but all right, let's 25 hours. Let's.
Consider it a test of patience, Tati.
Considering the last time.
This is why I didn't last at school.
You could always activate the key to maybe go exactly 25 hours into the future.
Yeah, wait. You always talk about really wanting to activate this key, Toddy, but like you never do.
I had to unattune to it to attune to the sigil.
Oh. Wait, then why didn't you just use the key before you attune to the sigil?
Because no one told me I had to wait 25 hours.
Couldn't it also center years into the future? Like, maybe we should avoid that one.
I mean, I think we should avoid it too, but Toddy always yaps and yaps and yaps about how awesome it is and how we should always use it all the time. And like, if you're gonna be talking about it, how you want to use it, then why don't you just use it at that point?
Ruse it. I hear
Challenge
you.
accepted.
But let's not go with people. No, Tati, please.
The next time
we
it seems
jumped?
like it might be fun, I will just use it without asking.
That just means you're about to use it.
Well, no, I already
What if we
unattuned to
jumped
it.
into
So
the
that's like,
future, and this was already all built? Then we wouldn't have to sit here and figure it out.
well, if we jump
What if-
into the
if we
future and
didn't
it's
build
already
it?
all built, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Wait, doesn't the
We
key just
could've.
make you older? Doesn't it not does it bring you actually into the future?
Well, we'd have to find out for sure.
I don't know. Using the thing's a stupid idea. And you
I
keep
don't know if
telling how
Saphira
awesome it-
joined this group or we joined Saphira. One of those happened though.
I'll have you know, I was a very well-respected
go
member of
find her?
society before I joined her group.
You were a fairy.
For the record, we were all technically forced to work together. I'm not saying it felt like we were forced, but on a technical level, we were all in a jail cell together.
Well, nothing better than bonding in a jail cell together, right?
It does occur to citizen right now, technically, the job I was supposed to be doing with y'all is done. Like,
Have you not been arrested with us yet?
I've tried very hard not to be arrested. I very much
Yeah, I
avoid
think-
that.
If you get arrested with us, I
That's-
think unbreakable bonds are made. You'll stay with us
That's
forever.
very concerning. I don't have to try that hard to not get arrested, so I don't.
Take notes, hermanos.
Not sure what you're doing.
Just
So
spend time
we're-
with these people, I guess.
Very hard not to get arrested.
Okay, so we're in agreement. 25 hours. This spot.
25 hours, agreed.
Before we separate, the telepathic bond will only last an hour, so let's think about what we're gonna do. It sounds like maybe some of us should go back to Nausea. That group would have to include Oshin, and we'd probably pick up a scroll of Wall of Stone from Judith. Maybe Shapestone as well, just so you can have both of them. Is the Shapestone permanent? Hang on, I'm gonna. Can you use that to make just smooth out the? Okay, there's Wall of Stone. Where's Shapestone? Is that even? That's definitely a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I spelled it wrong. Shape. Stone.
Stone shape.
Stone shape. You touch a section of stone, Okay, yeah, it's permanent. It's an instantaneous transmutation spell. It doesn't just like make a hole. So like, yeah, definitely. I think we want wall of stone for like the bulk creation of stone, and then stone shape for like the,
Making doorways or
yeah,
windows
exactly.
and
Like
whatever.
being able to like round off corners and just make it
We
not
could also
so
just hire
bulky.
some stonemasons, right? Like, how much more expensive is it for us to teleport people around that are capable of casting the spell a lot of times versus getting
That
the
sounds
people to do the
that
job?
sounds really
We
expensive.
could also just become stonemasons and then make the best castle anyone's ever seen.
Well, Sheen would have to teach us all, right?
I mean,
could
I'm
help.
familiar with it, but it's less of my profession and more my family's.
You should also get a scroll for mold earth to learn, just because that could be handy in terms of, flattening out the base, things like that.
Great idea.
Right. So it's
All right, I'm splitting up. Good luck with your stonemasonry. We're in hops away. So for the sake of player knowledge, Coin is going to be wandering the island. He's sort of mentally measuring the land. I don't think he's doing it exactly to scale, but he's, and I as a player I don't need this information, but in character he's mapping out the land, getting measurements, and he's also looking for like where would a good cornfield go. So that's where
Yeah, you
Coin is
should-
for the next.
You should
24
also
hours.
look for just general natural resource vibes, because if we are going to propose partnerships
True.
with cities or something, we should have ideas of what we bring to the table.
I will look for oil. Yeah, you can find Coin if you look at the horizon. You'll see him hopping around. That's all.
It's just like the only moving thing on the island, hopping up above the ridgeline.
Yeah.
Do you want to take like a magic carpet? Like maybe just being able to have some altitude would help.
Nah,
All right, up to you.
I could use the leg work.
Why don't
Thanks,
you just
though.
grow some wings? Worked for me.
Why don't you just?
It's not my to-do
Well,
list.
I mean, I guess you know what, Toddy, you could make a case for using that key because I got my age got a lot older and then wings just popped out of my back. So maybe that could happen for Coin. Who knows?
That's how aging works.
I'm leaving now. Coin leaves.
You're also telepathically connected to them, so you're going to be in this for the next hour.
Like I'm running further. Why do I?
Imagine Coin with wings. Do you think they'd be feathery wings or like amphibian, like kind of like wet flappy wings?
That way.
They'd be like web. They'd be like webbed feet, but
So you
for
can't help but
wings.
participate.
Wings are already webbed, Coin.
It's just. Well, it's more webby.
What does that mean?
It's more of like a feeling or like a sound. Webby is like a sound that you hear when it splats against hard surfaces.
Yeah,
Maybe it's gonna be gooey, like
Ooh.
like
I don't know,
slimy.
yeah, slimy.
Oh, have
That's
you seen that-
satisfying.
Have you seen those? I want to say, rare species of frogs that can inflate their throats into like a giant bubble, but it's like really really thin, so you can see through it.
Like that.
Are you
Oh,
doing
I
it
had
right now?
I had a cousin who could do that.
What's his name?
Blow up.
Mr.
I was
Chew.
very direct.
You'll never guess how he died. He blew up.
Food poisoning.
Steamroller.
Oh, we all have different
Have
ideas.
we discussed when Coin's cousins are born and named? Does that like determine fatalistically how they're gonna die?
It actually has been established.
He-
So there is a name.
Before.
There is a birth name and a death name. It's like an honorary thing when you
Oh,
die. You're
okay.
named after your cause of death.
Gotcha.
Well, see, I would have
Road
loved
culture.
if you guys had just been cursed by the goddess of fate
I-
or something, 'cause that would have been hilarious.
I love the implication that your birth name might be named after your cause of birth. And I love that your name is Coin.
Cause of birth. What the heck is a cause of birth?
I'm
I
not
don't know.
unpacking
I
it.
think Tati was making a prostitute joke.
Okay.
Not
okay.
unpacking that one.
It could be the Tales book, like
The-
Cause of Birth Tales.
Yeah,
Alcohol.
yeah. I don't want to think about that.
Wow.
I want to meet your whole family. I can't believe they're gone.
You hear Coin telepathically go, "My mother is a wonderful woman."
Yeah, but what was her name before she died?
She's not dead.
I thought
He's
you were
like
the
a
last
monk.
of your species.
She's like, oh, I guess she is. That raises a great question on does Coin forget his living relatives? or
That's
does
up to
he-
you. You're the one who's established this whole lore.
Maybe they
Well,
all suddenly died.
my adoptive mother, as
The
far as
adopted mother,
as far as
understood.
I'm aware, my adoptive mother is a monk who travels the world. Who knows where she is?
What's her name?
Personal.
Understood.
Oh, I think I know it though. I have it written somewhere.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I did
I think
tell
I
you.
do have that
I
listed.
legitimately forgot about that.
I do
I-
have that questionnaire. Let me go pull that up real quick.
I think you should defer to Tati here because Ray asked me like a few weeks back what Coin's parents' names were. And that's probably more definitive than whatever BS I told Eric.
3 years ago. 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
What did you say?
So what's the plan?
I think Coin has departed and is hopping around the island to sort of get a better feel for.
He is
How
on
everything-
walkabout.
I found it, Ray.
Yes.
Me too. Lake Mink the monk. Or
and
Mink the
then-
monk.
Mink.
Oshin and I are definitely heading back to Nausha to pick up some scrolls from Judith. I don't know what the rest of the party wants to do in the meantime.
Okay. So we can quickly skip over. What scrolls are you going to try to get from Judith? Because she doesn't have a lot of them after having been cleaned out by so many adventurers. But what are we looking for?
Kyle, it's your show. Oh, well, and with Kyle may have stepped away for a second. We are looking for building scrolls, specifically Wall of Stone,
Yep.
Stone Shape, and Mold Earth.
She would have all three of those. So let's go ahead and do the pricing on those.
Wonderful. I think it's a level 5, a level 4, and a cantrip.
The cantrip would be 50 gold. Let me get the prices here. And you only get the one cantrip, but I assume he's going to try to scribe that into his spell book.
Yeah.
So that's going to cost him a little bit. Scrolls. Level 5 and 4, you said?
Yes.
All right, so grand total it's going to cost you guys 900, and with the cantrip, it's going to cost a total of 1,000 gold for all three.
Perfect. We can easily fork over 1,000 gold. Yeah. What is the? So I don't actually have any money. That's.
Sorry, I stepped away. I just ran to the restroom, but I do have a few thousand gold on me, so I can pay that. And then I believe I already have enough of the magic link. Well, I mean, I bought all that was there, but
Okay.
That's up to you. I don't know the mechanics for scribing wizard spells, so I would trust you to have that.
how much do I need, Eric?
It's
I
think it's 100 gold or 50 gold per spell level to scribe it into a spell book.
okay, well, I'm fine because I have over 2,000 in
Yep.
magic link.
So,
Okay, so we'll
you're
go
looking
with that.
at 450 gold in order to scribe it into the spell book. In addition to the 1,000 gold that you spent on the scrolls.
Is that a separate cost from marking off the ink?
No. Ink would be if you were
Okay.
going to make scrolls. That is the same cost.
I thought that they. Okay.
Yeah, if you're making scrolls, it costs half as much as the scroll cost. Scribing it into the spellbook, I believe it's 50 gold per spell level, if I remember right.
Okay. Then we're all good. I would have gotten those and then worked on like
Cool.
scribing those once we get back.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else we want to do as long as we're in Nausea before we go back to the island?
Not that I can
Nothing's
think of.
immediately coming to mind, unless
No?
we want to buy like some canvas for a tent.
You guys can purchase a tent for 5 gold.
Maybe we hold on that for now until we know what our, just because it would be a pain in the butt to carry around. And if we're going with the Wall of Stone route, yeah, let's stick with that for now, and we can figure out how to decorate later.
Okay.
Sounds good. And then we'll just return with those, and then I'll start scribing them.
Cool. It's going to take you a day to do it, but yep, not a problem.
Yeah, it's 2 hours, 2 hours and 50 gold per level of the spell.
So it's going to take you a few days to get all these done without taking levels of exhaustion.
Sounds good.
All right. So what is Hermanos doing during this shopping trip that Bryn and Oshin went on?
I think Urbanus would have gone to Nausea with them,
Okay.
but just like found like the seediest bar he could, and just found a shadowy corner, harshest drink.
All right. Cool. Anyone else go to Nausea with these two?
Not it.
Not it. All right. So, did you guys pick up Hermanos before returning to Akeda?
Well, if he came with us, we're certainly not leaving him unless
Okay.
he wants to be left.
All right. So, you guys recover and head back to Akeda. Do you have a way back to Akeda?
I would have something of. Wait, I believe I was one that teleported us there. I don't remember what.
You guys rolled really well.
You had something. I
Oh.
can't recall what it was, but you had something.
No, I think that he just went off memory last time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we might have to do that again, unless someone's already back in Nausea that has. We didn't sell. We sold all of the stuff, right? We don't have any loot from the
Everything
island.
we're not
wait,
using,
wait,
yeah.
wait. I'm attuned to something from there.
All right. Well, that might count because it doesn't. The thing doesn't necessarily have to have originated from there, because you can take like a bed sheet or a book from a library.
Yeah.
According to the spell
Yeah,
description.
so I can use the talisman of molten scales that we got from there.
Okay. That's fine. So, you guys have an associated object, you're able to return. And we'll go ahead and put you over here.
Brim is still recovering from the effects of the wish spell, so rather than exert himself too hard, I think he would. Oh wait, if I do a, what's it called? The tiny hut. You have to be in it in order to come inside. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, Brent will just hang out and keep the rest of the team company while Oshin is scribing and Coin is off exploring.
Okay. As a question for Coin, because you have gone off on your own, how far are you going on walkabout?
He's going so off the image we're looking at. He's going no further than like this sort of in circle of hills around the actual. He will go at the farthest. He's never really leaving the line of sight of the center, essentially.
Cool.
But he will travel the full distance of the lake
Sure.
and circle it. And again, I do not need these exact numbers, but in character, he is basically kind of counting his paces
Sure.
across a lot of like the notable structures. So the diameter of this primary circle, of the lake itself.
Sure.
That's what he's up to.
Understood. Doing his cartography thing. Got it.
And you could consider that even a perception check of anything of note.
This would be a survival check based off of your cartography. So if you have your cartography skill, we can apply that here.
Yeah, I'll roll that. 13. I think I'll put a lucky on that
Sure.
for a 16.
Okay, that's pretty good. This area is 2 miles wide.
Dang. That's my cardio for the day.
He's back in 15 minutes.
So you've
fast.
essentially, because it's diameter, you can easily figure that it's
Fair.
going to take you it's going to be just about 6.5 miles to do the circumference.
Yeah, like I said, he's gonna spend the whole day doing it unless he is, called to action elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, but I have nothing that necessitates roleplay time right now.
All
That's
good.
Just establishing
Tati,
where he
what
is.
have you been up to? While Coin has been on walkabout, they went
I have
shopping.
a question.
Yes.
If you're swimming and you don't have a swim speed on your character sheet, is it half movement?
Yes.
I would like to work on that.
Okay.
I want to go practice swimming.
Please roll
And-
your athletics check. Remember, everybody, you should never go practice swimming without a swim buddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say a remote lake on an island where no one lives.
Bruiser would
Learn how
definitely
to
be lifeguard here.
You're gonna be
I'm
lifeguard.
definitely out here trying to figure out where the boats are going to be.
Bruiser's
And
just flying above Toddy, just looking down at her.
yeah, I think I'm going to summon a mask to do it too.
Okay.
There we go.
On the subject of swimming, if anybody really wants to be better at swimming, Bryn is carrying a some kind of swimming ring of swimming. It's called. It does not require attunement. Bryn took it because the athletics check in order to be able to swim was proving to be a burden for him during the initial assault on the
Bruiser
island. but
also
it's
has a
somebody
ring of
else-
swimming.
Oh, nice.
Bruiser's already
we
like
got-
is wearing it.
Rings to spare if I'm
floaties.
getting at Toddy wants to actually learn how to swim and not just
Not just
not
cheat
just
code.
not just have a magical item that does it. But if anybody does need to swim suddenly, it
Noted.
sounds like we have the tools for that.
Grazie.
Cool.
17.
With a 17, you get some progress towards learning how to get a swim speed.
I'm putting a tally down.
Awesome. So, the boyos return. Saison, what were you doing during all this time that they were gone?
I'm going to go to all of the members who are currently in on the plan, subtly and separately when Tati is not there, just listen, and just let them know that because only Tati and Oshin are the ones who still may or may not be charmed, I think it makes sense for us all tonight to just speak with everybody. I'll hit them both with the dispel effect, and then we can all be upfront about the plans and really plan for the future after that.
That seems like a good idea. Let me know how we can support you in that endeavor.
Yeah, to just back up in terms of like, hey, I'm gonna hit you with the spell here. It's very chill and like, people having random spells cast on them always makes them nervous. But I don't want to start things off by being like, oh, you may or may not be kind of possessed right now.
I agree, and especially if we tell them what they're doing, if Kendall still has any kind of residual influence, they might try and object to it.
Yeah.
Because when I have the dragon orb, if you had told me at any point, "Oh, I suspect you're charmed," I'm gonna slap you with a greater restoration to remove the charm, I would have objected to it.
First of all, I told you were possessed a couple times, and you did object. So, like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and so, so yeah, I think trying to keep it as secret as possible in this circumstances is warranted.
I mean, there is an argument for maybe trying to dispel the effect on them each separately, but I feel like at this point, it might be good just to get it all done.
Cool.
Yep, so I'll just have gone and talked with everyone else about that. Everyone else, I'll have at least given him some vague, quick background of like, listen, everything else will be explained tonight, but just know they might be they may be charmed. Tonight I'll be trying to dispel that effect on them. I do have information about where Saphira might be held. We'll talk about it tonight.
Yeah, I will say I encourage it, if we want to do like a montage of Sazin working with individual people, and then 'cause I have nothing I need to do in this 25-hour block, so I encourage that if you're trying to knock them out.
That was also why I figured I'd just dispel the effects on them together, so that this way we could have the one big conversation instead of doing it twice back to back. But if anyone individually has any thoughts about how they think we should go about it tonight, if we want to do that to both of them, please do speak up, because everyone other than Oshid and Tati, I would have spoken with, let them know this is coming, and just being like, hey, be ready to support in case anything goes weird. Don't expect it to, but hopefully we can just hit the dispel and then plan for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it for me though. Then anyone else?
Coin will return whenever he is called by the party. It sounds like we want to do like a group up at the end of this night. It doesn't sound like anyone in the party needs to like perform actions right now. So, like a 10-hour time skip seems logical to me, but if anyone needs to do anything, say have at it.
When Tati's done with the swimming lessons, making sure that she does not drown.
Are the swimming lessons like swimming from one side of the lake to the other, or is it just doing like a circle, or is it, just paddling?
I'm trying to figure out how much has to be cleared out for ships to make their way in from the sea.
If you go ahead and let's roll your survival check, because that is determining the depth of the passage and what would need to be done. So, yeah.
It's playing to my strengths today, and it worked out.
All right, with the natural 20, you can tell that it's going to take some stone shaping to move some rocks out of the way, some rubble, but it can probably be done in a matter of a month.
Cool. I'll mark it out.
We got a good harbor?
Yeah, it looks real protected, real safe from storms. Hidden. I don't think anyone's even gonna like stumble upon it by accident. And if anybody's coming by that we want to surprise, I think we can make it out to the ocean pretty fast if the wind and waves are in the right direction.
Now we just gotta ask Coin how we're gonna get rich off of some shipping lanes if we own a harbor.
Why don't we team up with the world eaters?
They don't really seem like a build structure type of people.
Yes, they're more of tearing things down instead of trading. I think that if we team up with them, it's just gonna become
No, I wasn't suggesting that we like ask them to build stuff. I was thinking more like we ask them to bring us supplies. or
I-
like trade for information as they're
Now-
traveling on the ocean, or maybe we just invite the tall guy in red armor to come over and have some drinks.
I think you just really like the tall guy in red armor. I'm gonna be honest. I mean,
Do you
I'm
wish
no
for them
better
to bring their
considering I was
ships
crushing
into
on
your-
Segeos like the whole time. So you know what? Go off. You can. Yeah.
Termanos,
Oh.
what were you saying?
Do you wish to invite their ships into your port and expect them to ever leave?
She wants to invite one specific ship into her port, and the leaving, I think that's,
I'm sorry, whose port? Like, whose port do you think he's docking in? No, I was gonna
Yes.
say.
Rooted
No
closest.
double entendre intended there.
Yeah. So, in all the time we've met, our engagements have been real short. They move on pretty quickly. And I mean, looking around, other than our company, I don't know what they'd be hanging out for. Our cool harbor, probably, once we get that clear.
Coin will say telepathically, because I have to imagine he's picking up this kind of remotely. He's gonna say, I think best case scenario, you can garner some sort of a truce where they don't ravage our startup. I don't know how involved they are going to be in, the day-to-day.
What's the benefit of inviting them here at all?
Well, if they bring supplies, that would be great. If they brought news from outside in the ocean, that would be great. If they brought their tall guy in red armor, that would be great.
That's true. I feel like we're a long way from building a
That's true.
harbor. Like, how are we
We're
gonna
about a month away from building
How- how do we
Well, a month
convince
with
them
how
to
much
come here?
resources? Like, how much are we dedicating to building the harbor? How are we hiring? Like, what is this looking?
got some boulders that need moving. That's the main thing.
I mean, I can move some boulders.
Oh yeah, see, ruse it for a month.
I'm not moving boulders for a month. That would be boring as fuck.
Well, we could make it fun. We could involve explosives. It could be all kinds of fun things.
Dude, if I'm moving boulders for a month, then I'm retiring from adventuring in that.
I read a story once about someone who was consigned to moving boulders.
No.
How'd it end?
It didn't.
Oh. An unfinished story?
He's still listening to the story as we talk.
They didn't write an ending? That sounds lazy.
Yeah, it sounds
This Sisyphus guy sounds lazy.
he sounds lazy.
You've read the story as well.
I've heard a passing tale. Ain't read no book, though.
The author endeavored to write an ending, but found that it was a task that eluded completion for him.
That is because the author found out that no story actually ends when MKL is involved. The story just changes. That's why
Yeah, it's just
Sisyphus.
an ending.
Sisyphus's story didn't end exactly because it was extended into his experiences in MKL's realm.
I don't think he died.
He didn't.
That lines up with my monk philosophy. The world is change. Death isn't really like an end.
I was gonna ask how much change.
Coin is not setting up a zinger. He is providing an honest window into his monk philosophy, and I will.
The world is change, not dollar bills.
How low do you think of me to think that that's a money joke?
I think it's
just cashing in, you
poetic. Oh, nice.
It wasn't a money joke. It was golden.
Coin lets out a single ha. Levity.
So, Coin, are you going to be like the logistics guy here? Because we have a lot of like various plans that require hiring various people on various timelines. Like, maybe you get a third coin to bring it all together.
That's what I've been saying. I don't know. I got to come up with a name for him first. So it's going to be a few weeks. That's all Coin says.
I was trying to think of a name, but I couldn't come up with anything. Because it has to start with a C, right?
No, I think it has to be a similar meaning. Maybe it also has to start with a C.
Okay, here's the thing you need to consider.
What are we coming up with a name for?
A third
new
coin.
That's it.
Coin's gonna say, here's the issue with making more me's. I know, it's shocking that such a thing exists. But, I'm a fair person, and I'm already gonna be splitting profit with cash. But a three-way split, three's a crowd.
Do you really need to split money with your simulacrums?
Yeah, I don't need to, but I'm a fair
Ash said he
businessman.
needed to.
Yeah, he made a convincing argument.
I
think the
can't
third
make a
one would
third
too.
Coin, by the way,
You can or can't?
I can't. The way simulacrum works is if I create another simulacrum, it destroys any existing ones.
Wait.
Well, I'm gonna keep that one on ice.
That you've made.
You just
Yeah,
need to
so,
teach
like,
someone else to make
somebody-
a simulacrum.
Yeah, like somebody else could cast
Well,
simulacrum.
if the simulacrum
third
can make a
coin.
simulacrum, then it's technically not
Bam.
you.
No.
Ooh.
Winks.
I think we've had this conversation before.
Hey!
Yeah, Eric is shutting down that bullshit immediately.
What's the worst that could happen?
I
it seems
well
like
know
it would
it's
be
already
fine.
not allowed. Ruse is just looking at the camera.
The meteorite strikes the new simulacrum.
We're gonna reestablish your race. It's coming back. Coin.
One clone at a time.
That gene pool is going to be very narrow.
Does the meteorite strike the new simulacrum or the old simulacrum? Because we might have just
No, it just
discovered a summon meteor spell.
Oh my god,
Which
yes.
is the whole party for tempting fate.
It's okay. It's only the size of a golf ball, and it's super targeted. It's all good.
It's fine. Coin's deck save is insane.
Doesn't matter.
Deflect
Catches
missile.
it and sends it back with a keyboard.
Deflect missile. Yeah.
This trick wouldn't even work on Coin. You'd have to do it on Oshin because he's the one who can cast the spell.
Moving on. The simulacrum would not survive the GM.
I just really like the
The
idea
GM
that
would.
Coin catches a golf ball sized meteor and then sends it back at the GM.
Well, now I can say this is the first time that the simulacrum exploit has come up in practice in the game.
No, in this game, yes, but in other games, no.
In a game that I've played.
Understood.
Yeah.
Valid. Now,
Wait, all this
yeah, I will allow this. However, we're going to put this on Coins, the player's responsibility to explain how each of these simulacrums ends up dying and what he names all of these dying simulacrums.
for the sake of not having to figure that out, Coin does not want a third simulacrum.
Thank you.
He also seemed kind of against it anyway.
I'm flattered you guys seem to want a third me around so much, but it's gonna complicate things.
Imagine if we had a whole guild that was just coins.
Well, I mean, there is. Well, you could have Bryn make a simulacrum, then it's his simulacrum, but that would still be too many coins in the kitchen.
Dude, I don't think sorcerers get simulacrum. I think only
No, but
wizards
you
get it.
could wish for the spell.
Oh, I'd have to have a wish scroll then.
Oh, I thought you knew Wish. Oh, never mind.
No,
Dyson,
I only had the one
now's your
scroll.
chance.
Oh, no. That's a bad idea. Don't listen to me.
I'm gonna wish Eric's DM rule out of place.
It's not breaking his rule if it's someone else just casting a simulacrum normally. It's only doing like the crazy bullshit of like trying to make 10 billion of them.
It's the recursive simulacrum that's the issue.
That's a literal dupe glitch. I
Right.
think that's the line.
I think you should let it ride, but each simulacrum like develops like a quirk, like it gets degraded.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
simulacrum is just a whole different person.
That's the whole
We're gonna
premise
need
of
to really have
reciprocity.
We're gonna get
That was enough simulacrums, they just turned into
Point.
crabs.
Good one.
Yeah, there's a movie, old movie, that's called Reciprocity, and they basically do that. All right, so you guys go to dinner. What's the plan here, Sason? You wanted to have a chat?
Yeah, I think it's time. I'll let us all have a dinner. Bryn wants to make something, all the chill stuff. As we're kind of wrapping it up for the night, I'm gonna signal to everyone who knows, just kind of get everyone together. Should have thought about how I want to actually approach this, come to think of it, but I didn't. So here we go. Okay, Tati and Oshin.
It's our birthday.
Is,
You got
is
us
it?
presents.
How did you know?
We've been keeping a tight lid on it.
All right, yes, I sure did. If you could just pull on the blindfold and some earplugs real quick, I will get you your gift.
I mean, I hold my hands out for my blindfold.
This is gonna work so well. Hey, does anyone have a blindfold?
You didn't even bring me my own blindfold.
I'm gonna be honest. I assumed you had your own blindfold, and you.
I do, but it's my birthday. All right, I'll go find
It's
mine.
okay. I can cast blindness deafness on us.
Ooh.
That would be great if you could do that. We've got the present ready. Do you think he's serious?
I actually don't know that spell, so
That's fine. Bryn does. Hey, Bryn.
Wait, that's the perfect thing to wish for.
Yeah, don't wish to be blind and deaf. Make
No,
sure
no,
you
not
wish
that.
the spell.
Wish to cast specifically that spell.
Yeah,
I know the
just
blindness
very
deafness
carefully
spell.
I
about
was gonna say,
I'll cast
Bryn
the
also
blindness
just knows
deafness
that
spell
thing.
on
Oh,
site.
Okay, great. What? Wait.
I can.
Does he
I
think
can-
we're idiots?
Listen, who's to say? I'll have to answer that. No, I'm not on trial
Especially if
yet.
you can't hear me because I've put you on blindness deafness.
Please, I've never failed a saving throw in my life.
That's right. Get out of your armor first.
So you want me out of my armor, blind and deaf? I am now uncomfortable. All right.
You
This is a
started
party.
this.
Okay. Tati Noshi, myself, and the rest of the party members have a bit of a concern that there's something on this island that may be causing some negative magical effects. I have a spell I want to use real quick to make sure we're clearing it from everybody. Would you both mind if I cast it on you?
is he talking?
I would like to
His
do an
mouth is
insight check
moving,
because you
but-
sound so suspicious.
Yeah, that didn't sound good. Other people just thought.
I feel like you read that off a script just now. like, did you unfurl a piece of paper to get through that?
What is?
I'm happy to do insight if you want against it.
All right, I'll inside check it, but I'll use a 14 on my portent, and I have a +9, so that's 23.
Ooh.
I give
Yeah, I'm
I
lying.
give Oshin a nod. Like, this seems legit.
Are you gonna say anything about it?
I'm gonna. Can you clarify what you were lying about? Like lying that You already did it?
That's the
I
best.
know. Listen, you don't know. You just clearly are lying. That's all.
He's
it's
lying about
psychology.
something.
Okay, well, I guess where I wasn't trying to ask, character wasn't asking. I didn't know what the
Out of character?
deception check. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I didn't know what the deception check. Was
Literally,
referring
it's
to.
just him being deceptive. There's something fishy going on. It's all you're able to determine.
Yeah, out of character, I can tell you again. I'm just making up the negative magic effect on the island. I'm just going to cast a spell on you to get rid of the charm effect. But
okay.
in
that's
character,
totally-
you don't know that.
No, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know what if the deception check was referring to like what you had just said or were about to say. That's why I was.
No, yeah, that's what I just said.
Okay. I'll just. I feel like I trust you. Like I know that you're lying, but I've never known you to lie for a bad reason. So I would let Tati go first.
That doesn't shock me somehow.
Well, I'm unsuspecting, so that all seems fine.
Perfect. What could go wrong? Great. In
They have
which
such
case,
great friends. One of them
No, I
lies and
appreciate- I
casts spells on
appreciate
me,
you
and the other one uses me as a guinea pig.
the other one knows he's lying and casting spells and doesn't care. Great. I appreciate the trust so much, guys. I will cast Dispel Evil and Good. Step up, and then that's an attack roll. It doesn't really count. That's not how that works. I will then try to dispel the effect on Tati.
It should be an attack roll. I think that's really good.
Hey, I'd prefer that. And if no one stops me or does anything else, I'm going to do the same thing to Oshin.
Okay.
As long as she doesn't look hurt or charmed to an extent, I would have let it happen.
If I did look suspicious, would you gonna like slug Sizen?
No. I just
Rude.
wouldn't have let him do it to me.
I'm reconsidering our whole friendship now.
Well, I don't know. It depends,
Wow.
like, what the answer is. Like, if
I
you
feel like
just said
Ruzid would
little
have slugged
charm,
Sizen.
I'd be.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Luzid
I would
for
have
sure.
asked him what he's doing.
What? Listen, what have I done to you?
In the hypothetical scenario where you look like you're about to harm Toddy, yes, you would slug.
Okay.
But apparently Oshin's just
Yeah,
like
that's
taking
fair.
note of it and not letting Sizen do it to him later.
That looks bad. Anyway,
Pretty much.
I would have asked him what he's doing at that point. I wouldn't just immediately hit him.
This solve all problems.
Okay. As far as I'm concerned, I dispelled the effect, correct, Eric?
As far as you are aware.
Great. Yeah, as far as I can tell. Okay. So sorry about that. That was in some ways a bit of a lie in terms of the islands is not,
You
as far as I'm aware,
lied?
casting any negative. Yeah, I'm allowed to do
Oh,
that. That's
But wouldn't
You're
you
allowed to do that?
yeah. I feel like sometimes think paladins just like can't lie. You're allowed to lie, especially for good reasons, which I promise this was.
Who decides if they're good reasons?
But
Well, it's kind of a gut vibe check, and also I'm trying to do good things. I'm pretty sure that always means it's fine, right?
So, just an
Let's not hold up
arbitrary
the arms.
rule.
Listen. The glue was for a good reason.
But still a war crime. Okay, anyway, my point is I was worried you guys were
Glue was
charmed.
not a war crime. The glue
agree,
was
not a
never
war
a war crime. I'm sorry, I just couldn't let that go.
It's literally not.
If we put glue in his mouth, would it have been a war crime?
Don't we have to be at war for it to be a war crime?
That was pretty much a war. We nuked an island.
Yeah,
We
that
didn't
definitely was a
declare
war.
ahead
Wait,
of
was that a
time.
war crime? I don't want to think about that.
Well, no, we didn't blow that up. Technically, he did that.
Oh, so then he's the criminal. Great.
Once
Well,
again,
I mean, I guess
we
the
did
winners
good.
always write history, right? So
I don't understand. If it's war, then how can there be crimes in it? It's war.
Well,
Some
you could
people
do
like
like
to
really
think of
bad
it as-
things.
It's kind of just like redundant. Like the war kind of implies crime. You're just saying the same word twice.
No, there's totally legal war in some spaces. But
I mean, you can have some rules, like you can say no gluing people's, or no feeding people sovereign glue is a form of torture.
Except
But you'd have
in
to
this
say-
instance, it wasn't a form of torture.
And
It was a form of
well,
like killing, which is what we were trying to do. So, literally, we're trying to kill that guy.
besides, you are the victors. This isle is now yours. You are sovereign over it.
Well,
Who
like I
could
said,
who could possibly bring you to task for any alleged crimes?
well, as I said, if you're the winner, you get to decide who did the war crimes and who didn't. So
Precisely.
Well, some of us have like paladin oaths that we're accountable to.
yeah,
and
but
so-
I don't. So
okay, yeah, but think about it this way: the happy circle goes away if we glue people's mouths shut.
oh, that would make
I
me
think the
unhappy.
problem is just your perspective on it, though. Like, where in your oath does it say no sovereign glue in the mouth?
It kind of between the lines. I feel like you're trying to turn these oaths into like very finely written pacts, which that's a whole nother class.
They should be. Like, if you're gonna put your life on it and the lives of all your party members, they should be very well defined.
Once again, you just gotta know, you gotta feel it. It's vibe based.
I don't know if I dislike you more for being Fae or for being a paladin.
That,
You can
that was a
dislike it
little
for
hurtful,
both.
Tati. Rooted!
We just ask your god, just for future reference.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if the god's the final arbitrator, because it is technically the oaths themselves that I'm kind of drawing power from, but hence why it's vibe based, because, you know, I can't really ask the oath.
But you made the oath.
Yeah, which is why
you can
I kind
define
of
it.
know.
You could alter the earth. You could alter the oath and demand that it pray you not alter it any further.
You could do that.
So none of you have ever spent time around the paladin before, huh?
What if I
Nope.
become a paladin? Can I just make my own oath that just says I can do whatever the hell I want?
Was
You
Darth
could
Vader
actually-
a conquest paladin? Would that
Oh,
have been his
I don't want to think about that.
If you remember Mask from the sci-fi sessions we had, like he was totally just Darth Vader as a conquest paladin. So that's my interpretation of him.
Wait, hold up.
I think.
Listen,
you can
Rooted,
choose
you're
your
allowed to
oath
make any
version.
oath you want.
Yeah, so
So
then
you
can
can
my
make
oath
an
just
oath
be
that
I don't really
says-
want to have an oath, but I want to hit people with my sword and smite them, and that's cool.
Well, you can make
don't
that
think
oath,
you-
but it might not really give you any power.
but
You
if
can
I
take
think
an
you
oath
can
it would
to
make
be
glue
the oath.
so
every
cool though.
enemy's
Like
mouth shut.
imagine me as a dragon just like slashing your chest open with like a giant explosion of
Ooh.
radiant energy. Doesn't that sound awesome?
Imagine you as a dragon with happy circles around you as a dragon.
That sounds really good.
It does. And good news, no matter what your oath is, as long as it vibes with you, it's right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I would be happy to discuss what it goes, like what it involves being a paladin and what goes into the oaths. Just taking an oath, you're not immediately going to get paladin vibes. You're also not going to get the happy circle. You got to really be living your oath to get there. It takes a while. It takes like years, a lot of effort, or sometimes people just kind of jump ahead in a bunch of life death situations. But at this point,
How
no
many years
offense,
did it
might
take you?
a while. I get my happy circle 20.
How many years did it
How did
take you
take
to?
your oath?
Yeah, but he's an elf, so that means like you could
That's
get
like
it in
1
like a
second,
year.
They're
right?
slow starters. Is that what you're saying?
Tanya, we really need to have a conversation about your blatant racism at some point.
I didn't say. He said it.
But if it takes
And
like
I'll have
20
you
years,
know, it's not true because I went to school when I was 19, and I'm fucking awesome.
that is true.
Yeah.
If it takes 20 years for an elf to get their happy circle, then wouldn't it take me, a half dragon, like 200 years to get my
Doesn't
happy
take-
circle?
It doesn't take that long to get a happy circle, I bet.
Okay,
Just
all
a
right.
slow
I
So,
mean, he did lie about one thing no less than like 2 minutes ago, right? So what's another lie?
why would I lie about this?
Did you not just state you're allowed to lie?
I'm allowed to
Your
lie.
point?
I have
That's
to
the
lie.
whole, that was the whole point of this conversation.
That
You would
wasn't
have
the
to
point of the
lie.
conversation.
He would
I
have
was
to lie if
getting
you
to the
vibed
liars.
with him.
You got sidetracked.
Is he an
Why
Oath of the
are you
Liars
staging
paladin?
this intervention anyway? It doesn't look like I'm getting presents.
Well, you didn't blind and deafen yourself,
Well,
so definitely not
he
anymore.
lied twice today. That's what I'm getting.
I both assume it was only twice. Anyway, it was about Kendall. God, jeez. Like,
That
do you guys remember
bitch?
Kendall?
Who?
Oh, I
Yes,
hate
that-
Kendall.
Why you bring
Ruzen,
her up?
we had this conversation. You were
Yeah,
here
you
already.
cured me earlier. That was awesome. Now we can
Yeah,
finally
and I'm-
speak freely about that bitch.
You look like you got this under
You
control,
were so chill
Satan.
about it. Go
Why
ahead.
do people hate
I
Kendall?
I'm just gonna
Use
let you. I'm
support.
gonna let you handle this all.
Any step of the way you could have backed me up. Any one of the steps.
No, I'd rather not. This is pretty entertaining.
Yeah, no, I can tell. I can tell.
So why do we hate Kendall?
Well, okay, so Oshin probably has even less of the vibes than everybody else. Tati, of course, you guys know that there was a bunch of weird background stuff where she's a succubus and charmed you all. Yes, sound familiar?
Yep, that happened.
No,
That fully
charmed
happened.
everyone else. I think definitely got Bryn. I saw that. Yeah.
Well, to be clear, okay, you got to think about it from my perspective. You guys are like, we have a house. It's a really cool house. Great. I hadn't heard about it for months for some reason, but like, cool, let's go check out your house. As we're approaching, you guys are like, oh yeah, there's someone who lives there who's kind of sketchy and like weird, and we can't really tell you much about it, but don't worry, it's fine. Then we show up, and there's this person who is sketchy and weird, who's like vaguely teleporty, is being really creepy, and just like trying to get me to agree to things, and like shake on stuff and eat food. Classic Fae no-nos and things you just don't do to a stranger you met who is described as sketchy. You guys were all really chill about it while also being a little bit wigged out at times, and then acting like everything was fine the next second.
I'm
And I was
sensing a
just supposed to,
judgy
like, run with
tone.
Yeah,
You wanna-
yeah, I was
As long as the judge train is rolling, can we point out that it was the consortium that gave us that house in the first place?
Wait, the judge.
I'm just
train.
saying we can choose our allies a little better in the future.
You're saying
Hey,
the consortium screwed us over by giving us this place. Did the consortium even know about the like apparitions in there?
Isn't that why they sent us over there?
Oh.
Didn't we also then report that there were apparitions and they said, got it?
This is why I
No.
hold the deed to the house and none of you do, because you guys barely remember our
Screw the
relationship.
consortium. They screwed us over. I want a refund.
Is there
For the
any
record, the consortium
downside?
knows they use Merry Way right now.
Wait, they
Is there
use
any
that?
downside to being
Yeah, they send young
Charms.
adventurers into Merryway regularly.
The
I
entire
really
like
hope you're joking.
I don't think I
Tati,
use that.
I'm definitely not. That's
Wait,
where
is
they
this
send
a
them to.
scheme by the consortium? What the
Just
hell?
the consortium just feeding people to Kendall?
Wait, maybe it's because they're charmed by Kendall.
Hey,
Wait,
Yeah, I
this is
mean, this is really bad. This is
coin picks up a random stick. I have the talking stick. I have the talking stick. Okay.
oh, now you step in.
Okay. Because of how Kendall was handled, it ended in sort of a truce where we said, okay, stop bothering us. We're stop bothering you, but we still need access to this building. We'll stop like giving you shit if you just stop messing with people in the building. Was more or less the agreed upon circuit. Isaac could probably tell you more definitively. But my
Yeah.
understanding of it was roughly that. And since then, the consortium has been aware of Kendall and using that property as needed as sort of, a stay-in for travelers.
Okay, so this is even worse than I thought. It was just you guys who were charmed by. Did I mention she's a like princess of the succubi? She's like way up there, really important, very powerful. I thought it was just you guys possessed by her.
It did not come up, no.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
So
we
this
learned-
is
we learned that. We saw her in her domain. Leslie showed us. It was a
It was
long time
pretty
ago.
nasty.
I'm
okay.
confused. What is the downside? Because nobody here seemed harmed despite being charmed.
I mean, surely she has like a big plan, right? Like she's like sowing the seeds, charming like 10 billion people, and then maybe at one point she's just gonna like snap her fingers and have an army at her hands or something crazy.
By the description I read about her, it seems that she does very subtly over time kind of take control of people, take their souls, eventually their allegiance. Even if right now you seem like you're okay, there was always the chance down the line that was going to change. And quite frankly, everything I've heard about her, I don't trust that she doesn't have, like Rusen said, delusions of grandeur with some grand scheme coming down the line. If she has her claws hooked into the consortium, that's a huge problem, because that is a massive fighting force at her side. Probably one of the greatest forces in Toivoa.
Well,
Okay.
we should get working on that Grung army.
Okay, second topic, which is connected. We actually know where Severe's soul is being kept.
Oh shit! Really? Where?
Yeah, so that's the bad news. It's in the Fortress of Crimson Glass, which is Kendall's like home in the Hells. Like I said, she's a princess. She's got 2 sisters, and then there's like one matronly queen over her. All we know is the soul is apparently somewhere in there.
Do you think she was
so
able to
that's-
claim the soul when it was taken out of Saphira's body because she had a
I'd say pretty good
hold on
odds.
her?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty likely.
So,
Can
In
we
addition
challenge
to
her
that-
claim? Because I feel like we also have a claim.
Well, so in addition to this, we also do have some support from Rufinus. That whole conversation I had with her, the private one earlier, I was given permission to share it with you all. Rufinus...
That's not what we did.
Kendall also has a claim on Rufinus' soul, it seems. Rufinus also has an interest then in getting rid of Kendall. We have some information as to a way to kind of weaken her and or the entirety of the Succubi community. I can go into more detail a little bit later if we want.
You have a way to weaken the entire Succubi community?
More like at least that branch. I don't really know how it works. I'm not well versed in terms of like, are these all the Succubi? Are the different branches? Apparently this is a very big bad group. I can tell you that much. If we get rid of the power structure, I'm sure the rest will fall. At least hopefully.
Are we talking like chemical warfare? Or
Why
like
is it
curse?
always war crimes with
what?
you?
You're the one bringing up taking out a whole species. I mean, species of
Wait,
demons.
wait,
that I
wait,
don't
let's
think we
be
should be
clear
involved in,
here.
but like,
You said community, not species.
Listen, to be clear, I have no idea how any of this technically works.
I thought we were just getting our friend back. Why are we taking on an army of succubus?
Well, because that's probably what we're gonna have to do to get our friend back.
Hmm.
I know what the problem is. Sizen's never done sneaking before.
Has this
Wow.
group,
Absolutely. Like
the stealthiest
100%.
thing I've seen this group do was charge into a temple of Mosaba and fight our way room by room.
do you
The
think
reason
he could wish
that you saw
for
that is because-
proficiency in stealth?
Nice.
Okay, I'll have you know I have advantage on stealth because of my elven boots, and I have disadvantage because of my armor.
So, are we just gonna go to like Judas again, and this time search for like 10 billion different ways to slay succubi, like succubi slaying instruments?
Maybe. It does. I don't think she's charmed because I brought Kendall up to her before and she didn't know who that was. It seems like we should not go to the consortium. Honestly, before I managed to start breaking this charm with everyone here, I wanted to go to Isaac because I'd heard rumors that he may not have been charmed. Although, again, I wasn't getting a lot of information from people, so it was always a chance he was as well.
I
It's a
would say if
great
Judith
idea.
is charmed, we are really fucked. So I really hope she's not charmed.
Yeah, I'm also not sure Judith is capable. I'm not sure a creature is capable of charming Judith.
If
But
there was a
I
creature
think
capable of
more or
it,
less, I'm restating what you said, that if Judith is charmed, we're in big trouble.
the thing is, it might be like a queen of the or princess of the hells that would be a creature powerful enough to do that. That's my only concern. Same idea. If the consortium's charmed, even partially, we're in huge amounts of danger. Which is also why I've been trying to keep this on the DL and not tell a lot of people about it, including you all. If you were charmed and you brought it back to Kendall and she activated into her failsafe, I didn't know what could happen.
So Toddy, you wanted to check in on our friend Isaac? Yeah, that's what you were saying.
Well, I noticed that Bryn didn't make us any dinner.
Oh, so you want to just
And-
go to Isaac's place just to get dinner? Come on.
That's the factor
Coffee is
here.
savage today.
Giancarlo always has dinner every time we go.
I mean, it's good food, but we should be there for a real reason, not just like getting food.
I mean, that's real. He has a restaurant. That's what most people go there for. But yeah, we should talk to Isaac at the same time. And maybe he wants to try out this cool thunder cloak we got.
Oh, yeah, we do need to get rid of that.
Isn't that kind of a hat on a hat or a coat on a coat?
Sometimes I just like to group like things.
You'd probably appreciate the gesture, I suppose. Well,
Making
okay.
toast.
Before we even consider trying to take down an army of succubus, do we have an idea of how to reach this fortress?
No, not yet. It's in the
I
hells.
heard a
They're
story
not.
that if you dig down deep enough, you can get there.
Hmm.
Maybe the dwarfs know.
Derek, are there any dwarven kingdoms underground?
Well,
Is
history
that
check.
a known? Is that a known thing in Toivoa?
You would know that there are dwarven kingdoms underground. The question is, do you know any of them? No.
8. Yeah, I was gonna
Toad.
more of a water based. I don't know a whole lot about the caves.
You would recognize the rumors of, yes, things exist out there. Tati, you have heard of Silver Spar, which is a major capital of the dwarves. It's located in the center of Reston. It's currently ruled by the dwarf Marcoria Farovane. And I can put her name in chat for you guys.
So I heard this story about a dwarven leader named Marcoria Farovane, and her dwarven kingdom goes deep underground. I don't know if it goes to the hells, but if anyone knows if you can dig deep enough, maybe they do.
Do you know what continent it's on?
Yeah, Reston.
Oh. Okay.
Kind of in the middle of the map. I point.
I actually show you guys on the map, which is fun.
Yeah, I would even wager Coin would have pulled out a map at this point as a reference. So
You can see right here, Silver Spar.
And by middle, I meant middle when you go across. Not up, not north to south, but middle east to west.
It's not far from Nausea, but also,
It's a 4-day journey by foot.
But what about Dragonback?
Depends, with or without a saddle.
Ooh, that's fun. That's very fun. Everyone in a net held by Ruzid's hands.
That's such an uncomfortable way to travel. So, are we just assuming that the dwarves would know about the hells because they are associated with underground?
That's
maybe
not exactly what I said. You're making it sound more racist.
Tati,
Yes, it's definitely racial
here's the
profiling.
fun thing. Tati, Ray, Tati has all the information that Ray knows about Silver Spar.
Okay, so I heard a story that back in the day, Marcoria actually did go to the hells by descending deeper than any dwarven mines ever had been before.
So our lead is a rumor.
It's a story, and all of my stories come from life.
Said you heard it. I mean,
Of course.
I heard a story about me having wings this morning, but I wouldn't describe
It
that as
wasn't
my
much
reality.
of a story. It was more of a. Anyway, yeah, no, my story was told to me by my cousin who visited. Well, actually, so my cousin visited Silver Spar and then met a like a sorcerer that tells stories there, and she said that she actually went down with Marcoria. It's all legit. It's very legit.
I mean, I think it's definitely worth following up on. It's the closest thing we have to a direction right now.
I mean, we could probably always plane shift to the Hells at least. Then we'd have to find it in there, of course, but...
Yeah, I mean, a time god might be a good choice, I guess, to finding this place that seems extremely hard to find.
I could see the value in a slow approach. Try to gather more, like, find people who have been to this station of hell, if that's
The
even possible.
only danger with a slow approach is we don't know what's happening to her soul while she's down there.
Held in a gem?
I am inclined. You're right. We don't know for certain, but I am inclined to think that she's pretty safe in the gem. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I'm hopeful about that, but keep in mind we're dealing with forces powerful enough here that if they wanted to take her out, I bet you they could.
After you've been granted inspiration.
So, you know that she is in the Hells and are advocating for a quick approach, and let us just go to Nausha to buy scrolls of stone.
So,
Well,
I do need to clarify, because we have kind of drifted from near to near the edge of the Hells.
Yeah, okay, that is important. I will make sure I give that information then.
Just
Also, just while this conversation is going on, I want to be clear that I shared all of the questions and answers from the actual conversation with Rufinus. So if you want to look at that, that's back in our Discord chat, because I think that's going to be very important for people to look at.
Mm-hmm.
So, Italian food?
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
asking
down.
Grit?
Are we gonna have to wait till
I'm asking
tomorrow?
Oshin because he teleports.
Yeah.
I'm now more convinced to go to this place now that it's not purely for the Italian food.
It's 10:30, guys, at night. What are the chances this place is even open?
Sayson, you've been
Really
granted
good.
inspiration.
Thank you.
Right. Teleporting us exactly.
Do time zones exist in Toivoa?
They do.
They're real weird, though.
No. They're not real weird. They are established, however.
What would it be like? 6 or 7 o'clock in Nausha right now?
From compared to where you guys are at, it is a 1 hour difference.
And we're having dinner, presumably, so realistically, probably like 6 or 7 o'clock here?
I would assume so.
There's a quick thing we need to figure out before we go anywhere. As we just settled on this island, daylight savings, yes or no?
No.
Hard
Hot damn. Okay, look. No. You push the button.
Yes.
There is
If-
one
if-
political topic that G. America will talk about, and this is the one political topic I will talk about. I hate that whole system. Just
I
saying.
say yes, but it never resets. It just goes and gains an hour every
I
year
like that.
until it's like
Ooh.
50 hours ahead.
Screw that. That is wrong.
That's
I like that. We'll put that on the drawing board. That's
every
good.
3 3/4 years. It goes forward 45 minutes.
No, not doing it. No. Can't make
I
me.
think if we hit up Crystal at the Blue Palace, we can probably work something out.
No. This is one that G. America gets to just be like, it's my campaign setting. Nope, no daylight savings time. Grats.
Look, he won't let us make an infinite army of clones. He won't let us invent daylight savings. God.
It doesn't even like fun.
Oh.
I guess I'm waiting for the infinite army of coins specifically. That would be awesome.
Yep.
I'm almost uncomfortable with how persistent you guys are on this. I almost feel like you're trying to replace me with me.
The thing is, we don't count coin weight, right?
Wow.
Excuse me?
Right? Like in our inventory, we don't count coin weight.
Yes, and
I think we can travel with an army of coins.
Just throw them all in a bag of holding. Put them in a bucket of
Throw 'em in
water.
a regular backpack.
That's the stupidest joke that's ever been made in this party, and also probably my favorite.
That's a thinker.
It just means that you can carry that much harder.
Yeah.
All right. What's the plan? Are you guys going to Nausea? Do you have a teleport to go there?
Where? Okay.
Now, sure.
I feel like we could just go tomorrow, right? It is 10:30, excluding
I
daylight
just
saving
there
time.
tonight, but I only have one more teleport slot left.
Okay, what I would say, they're probably in the middle of a work shift right now. It would kind of be a dick move to show up and be like, we need to have a serious conversation about something that happened a year ago. Like maybe we catch him in the, the morning before the shop's open.
Do we have somewhere
Alright.
that we could stay there?
Did you guys buy a tent when you were out?
No.
A
we
tent that's big
neglected
enough for
the-
me when I'm a dragon. This is important.
I will be sleeping under a tiny hut tonight. I neglected that the time it would take Oshin describe the spells in his spellbook, so we assumed that we would have a stone shelter tonight. So no, we do not have a tent.
I mean, I could have gotten, I think, a wall of stone scribe. Like, that would have taken 8 hours. so-
Wall of Stone is the 10-hour one, so you'd have to push yourself into the night to do that, and then you would be able to
okay.
cast it afterward. But a tiny hut has worked just fine. We can.
Do we have
we
anywhere that we
can-
could stay there?
That's true. We could teleport to Nausea and stay in Nausea because we have one more teleport left, I think.
Yes, because then I was wondering too, like, if we're gonna, not that I anticipate us breaking out into a fight with them, but I'd rather get us there, and then that way when I rest, I have all the teleport slots back, as opposed to using them right away in the morning.
Oh, I could go stay in 123 Merry Way.
It's settled.
Let's do it.
Okay. See, someone was supposed to say no to that. Like one of you, at least one.
We assumed you were taking the piss.
No, I assumed he
No
had a
one wants to
plan.
do
That's
it.
why he brought it up.
Oh, never mind. I take it back.
No, I assumed he was
Well-
joking too, but I would have agreed just to piss him off.
Well, I'm not hearing any
Fine.
objections.
Once that dude
so-
deserved.
We're all just waiting to see Sison's head explode.
Oh, just like you did those heads that fell out of the air.
Okay, that's not very.
Yeah, it's weird how my entire party sometimes seems to be cheering on my downfall. It's like, will he die or break his oaths first? Who's to say?
You might be taking bets.
It's fun to do a little trolling sometimes.
Coin, what do you mean might be? I see you.
I can't tell you. It would affect the bet.
Okay, just give it to me straight. Did anybody bet on me keeping them?
What, your head?
Guys!
You should not ask
Wait,
questions.
what's the
you
bet
know
here?
is not-
What's the bet here?
What's
no,
the-
you have not been here that long. How did you already get in on the bets?
About Mr. Akebray, his
I was
oath
asked.
bray.
Was the
And what color his hair will
15th or
turn
so
when it
question I was
happens.
asked.
Wait, so is the bet on when he'll break the oath, not if he'll break the oath?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I thought he already broke it.
See, this is why we should ban glue in this party.
Wait,
Why
what is
your
that gonna
oaths are
do?
so specific against glue?
What?
It's like an oath of anti glue.
Okay, to be fair, Toddy, you were the one who brought up the idea of the oath specifically outlawing glue. So
I just said that's a ridiculous thing to have because he's treating it like it does specifically outlaw glue. And now he's saying he wants it to be no glue in this party.
If his oath is about him taking like suffering for others, if we're going to glue someone's mouth shut,
You're not
just
gluing my
have
mouth
to
shut.
let his mouth shut.
Yeah. I feel like no is a good rule.
Staples it is.
Whoa!
Somehow better.
See, not a war crime if it's Staples, apparently.
So it sounds like Giancarlo's in the morning, yeah?
Carlos in the morning.
Yeah, and I'm sleeping my back to a wall tonight.
And we will push back the sigil plans to lunch.
Why does Sizen sleep standing up?
It's because he doesn't take his armor off and he's kind of stuck.
Gotcha.
Bending is hard.
Okay. So you
I
guys,
used to sleep in Kevlar. I called it my turtle outfit. Just holds
Yeah.
you up.
We'll put up a tiny hut for everybody, but
Cool.
and we'll have to all be inside it before, so that you can come and go at will. So that'll take 1 minute plus 10 minutes for. Actually, I can just cast it with a spell slot. We don't need. I'm not going to need the spell slots.
cool. So Lehman's tiny hut goes up, and you
Can I
guys
cast-
go ahead.
I was just gonna use up my legend lore for the day.
Sure.
And,
What's the
just
legend?
find
you're
out if
looking
any. I just want to know if there's any new legends about Saphira.
for? There are no new legends about Saphira.
Okay.
All right. So you guys can get a long rest and wake up in the morning refreshed and looking forward to a rainy day.
That's kind of a sunny day for Coin,
I suppose so.
like metaphorically.
It's liquid sunshine.
Coin can be found kind of free floating on the lake in the morning,
Okay.
waiting for the party to convene.
All right. So now that it's been another day, do we have the first Chrononacrum key again?
Would you say so, Eric? Because it
It
was
is
2 days.
available for you to use.
Coin gives a thumbs up from the water. It is ready. The
Alright.
Chrononacrum key is ready.
It looks like
All
the
right.
Terminator going down into the molten steel.
Yeah, he sinks. He sinks a little, and then he puts his hand down.
All right. Let's do that properly again this time. Extended Discord server, Bardic Inspiration. Any other prep before we go into the?
Yeah, I'll give the Death Lord.
Cuckoo. I'm
I
gonna. No, actually, I'm gonna fly off. I'm gonna take a carpet and like get some distance. There's a like a backlash on this sigil that any casters nearby are not gonna like.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Good memory.
I learned about it while I was attuning to it.
Is that how it works?
You really get to like look at the fine print before you sign off on that attunement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will get, way up on the ridgeline. I will put a mask on and ghost walk,
Okay.
and then activate the sigil.
Cool. And you appear here in the fountain,
Like on the top of the fountain?
on top of the fountain, and you are now wet.
I love it. How's it taste?
Fresh, clean, cool. It may
I no
even
longer
give you a
have-
thrill as the water is shooting up from beneath you.
I am thrilled.
All right. Well, that's good. That's the good news.
I do a pose. I wave to you guys.
Tati is pulling her best fountain maiden.
Didn't even have to burn the Chrononacrum key. Beautiful.
That's when you hear boom over in the distance
Which distance?
where she had been.
A boom? Like of air filling in the vacuum, or
The psychic damage in the
yes.
as you forced a rupture in the arcane flow.
Ooh, interesting.
And Galileo goes, ouch. All right.
Okay.
So what's the plan?
Well, I'm gonna swap my attunement now because that's done for the day.
What's the recharge on that?
I can do it once a day,
Okay.
and I can carry 5 willing creatures with me.
All right. So that's most of the party.
A little awkward. That's going to be an awkward conversation on who can find their own way there.
I will put out there, emergency situation, we're all about to die. I can, I think, dispel evil and good on myself using the dismissal option to send myself back to my home plane. Just something to consider. If you need to get everyone else out, leave me.
I can activate Chrononacrum Key 2 and meet you guys later.
That's also true. We've got 2 outs.
I'm going to be real. This is just one of many get out of jail cards that our party now has.
We don't like to stay in jail. That's what's up.
There's also a free teleport back to the. Is there a range on it? I presume it's just anywhere on the plane.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think it's beyond planes.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's also
post
just
it
a,
for you.
you get to go home for the day if you want. So that's pretty convenient.
Works across all planes. So if hell turns out to be a bummer, like we'll come back here.
How is this made? I mean, the fact that it can work through anti-magic. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around that one.
Also, when I attune to it, I don't know if it's not like it talked to me, and it didn't explicitly say it in the fine print. But I don't think we should advertise it. I think there's maybe reasons why some people wouldn't want us to have this. It's supposed to be hidden.
I agree. It's most effective when people don't know we have it. Hence the whole hidden sigil in the name.
Hidden sigil in the name, hidden in the description. Just, I think we should hide it.
Well, should we head to Nalsha in the meantime?
Wait, so is anyone going to attune to this thing? Like now that Toddy's not?
I think the plan was just to have it as a jail button. Like we'd have to attune to it, yes, but could still be handy unless someone wants it at the moment.
I think anyone who doesn't have a Chrononacrum key should have that. Since 3 of us already kind of have get out of jail buttons, any party member without one should perhaps be the
Wait, wouldn't
bearer.
this thing leave someone out to dry though? Because there's only 5 other people.
The
Yeah,
other
we
person
talked
would
about
have
that.
to use one of the other options. And I'm happy to hand this over to someone who wants to attune it, but I don't recommend attuning to it today because it's sleeping. It's going to be sleeping for 24 hours.
I think realistically our use case for this is not an emergency pull everyone out. It's literally just you need to take a quick bus home, so to speak.
Just like with, I think, the wings, it's good to have, I think, in our back pocket, even if not attuned, we can break it out. Although if anyone has an open slot, I think it's a great thing to have as an emergency button. But I agree that I think it's fine to keep in our bag until we need it.
Yeah, this is more of a convenience thing than it is a combat tool in our line of work. Now, I think there's a scenario, if we can manage to, break this thing open and mod it a bit, kind of chuck out that willing creatures rule, we could convert this whole place into a lava pit, then just, throw it at someone and teleport them here. But that's a little out of the box.
Kind of like
I've
a
got to say,
interplanar teleport grenade.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never modded an artifact myself. If possible, that sounds incredible. I don't know how feasible that will be.
I'm not saying it'll be easy. It's just food for thought. But yeah, I'm ready to now shit up.
Okay.
And I believe we have something from Now Show, right? One of the badges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So teleporting to Nausha?
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. So as you guys teleport to Nausha, the magic washes over you guys, and you can arrive here at the Citadel of the Blue Cloaks. You come in, you're able to depart. Where are we going? What are we doing?
Well, we know where we want to go, which is Giancarlo's. If anyone needs a detour, I welcome it, but Coin is just going to be kind of waiting in the direction of Giancarlo's for the group.
Cool.
I'll
And-
follow you there.
Cool. So as you guys make your way over to Giancarlos's place, you see standing outside of Giancarlo's a familiar individual who is currently being hugged by two young kids.
And I am holding a plate of garlic bread up very high to prevent them from stealing any of it, because I have an idea that it will be wanted here soon. How's it going, everybody?
Are we that predictable?
Welcome in.
Yes, I did hear you from down the street, Coin, and ran inside to grab it. I, the player, have no idea what you were talking about, but I feel like that's a safe bet.
No, you're pretty much on the money. Coin's gonna walk up. He'll hop up he's pretty much the same height as Isaac's children, but he'll hop, up to Isaac's face and grab one. Be like, "Good to see ya," and then he falls back down.
I'm like holding the door open with one hand and the big, huge, I think platter is probably a better way to describe it, of garlic bread out to everybody with the other as I'm like ushering you all inside.
Let's go eat.
Yeah, Coin's just gonna hop through the door. Find
So
a seat.
happy to get some garlic bread again. This place racks.
All right, so you guys go on into Giancarlos's establishment. As you do so, Giancarlo comes out and greets you and says, "He'll take good care of you. Be aware, he has become more rascally since he's been traveling."
Rascally.
Yeah. That usually just that just means I'm trying different kinds of jam, and it's really upsetting him because some of them are not working out. Admittedly, some of them are not working out. The rhubarb was bold. We tried it. I'm glad we tried it. They don't all land.
I get it.
The pimiento
I
jam
wanna
was
try
not a
rhubarb.
success.
No, Isaac, I'm getting this pushback on my fire ant corn cob. I totally understand. Some people just don't see the vision.
Now wait a second. I immediately have some follow-up questions here. Is this like dusted in fire ants, like dipped in them, or is it like somehow made of fire ants?
So there's three. It's sort of like it's like a texture variant. I got three. I have
Mhm.
crushed up and sort of into a fine paste, like a powder, coating on the corn cob of dead fire ants. I have toasted fire ants, kind of sprinkled on top, and then I just let a couple live ones loose,
Sure.
on the plate.
Spicy.
I imagine the grung community loves that. Like, I imagine that's a big, huge hit.
It's
Not
even
a
bigger
lot of
than
them.
roads.
Not a lot of them coming through. Also, technically, I'm a grode, which I think in character you will recognize. Like, I've never heard of that species before.
He doesn't have to do
I'm
in
rolling
character.
with
The player hasn't heard of the Grode either.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm rolling with it. Listen. It's a big world that we live in. There's a lot of stuff. I think. I'm rolling with it. Okay, great. Of course you are. Absolutely, my mistake.
Coin's recently been investigating his legacy or his
My lost people.
lost
Yeah, he
people.
got a 23andMe back.
I've found zero evidence of their large legacy, which is mind-boggling. But this isn't about me. Today's not about me.
It can be.
We have some new people.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Has Isaac met? I'm sorry. I have. Has Isaac met? I guess. Oh yeah, on the boat, right?
Yeah,
Somebody said-
technically we would have
Yeah.
just kind of been passing.
Yeah, said hi, and Crystal mostly. I think I gave like 1 or 2 spells. I think Crystal, who in character, much richer, gave you guys like potions and stuff. We dropped by and said hi before your Sageos fight, which by the way, bravo.
Hey, we survived.
Well, not all of us.
I'm gonna do use the
Yeah, he's
telepathic
looking over
bond.
the group. Who am I not seeing?
You're not seeing Saphira. You're not seeing. Oh yeah, you're not seeing Saphira. Everyone else you see.
And some other people that may or may not have joined in the.
There was an
Okay,
extra
well-
person that joined that is no longer
You're
here.
not seeing Jordan's
Saphira's-
other character who also died.
Saphira's not dead, but then there's also another person who did die, but the person who did die joined us because someone pulled, because Saphira pulled from the deck of many. Oh, no. Oshin pulled from the deck of many and summoned them, and then he died later.
Great.
You get all that?
Most of it, yeah.
Saphira pulled the card from the deck of many that puts you into an extra dimensional space and it traps your soul. So she's gone, but not dead. It's
Pull
kind
her
of
head out of the bag
Taking
real
this-
quick. and be like,
basically this-
"It's fine."
Okay. I'm taking this basically the same way I took the news of Grode. Like, it's a big world out there. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know before, and I'm just sort of rolling with all of it as I learn it. Great.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
was also a changeling bard who blew himself up. He turned out to be a spy. I don't know if he counts or not.
Oh, that guy doesn't count.
Let's just say we're at kind of a revolving door right now. That's all.
And this is Hermenos.
Hello.
If you're trying to be shy and like not be noticed, I'm definitely pulling you to the front because you should meet everybody and also get some garlic bread.
And we're definitely giving you other pastries. I think not garlic bread, probably not something we're normally making in the morning, but I knew I knew you guys were coming. But if any other breakfast pastries we can get you an espresso. I'm just sort of assuming. I'm just going with Italy and assuming that this turns into something like a cafe in the morning. Maybe.
Oh,
I'm off.
absolutely. Absolutely. Considering this
And
is your
we'll
lore,
try-
yes, you can make this up as you go.
Jordan, what do I see? What's your character?
No, this is your food. You're the one who created this restaurant.
Sorry, I was asking what Jordan's character, who was introducing himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You see a tall red tiefling man who has a very distinctive eye patch over one eye and just a permanent, like, he's not scowling, his expression is just permanently very neutral. Just tends to loom.
Okay, I think I've seen. I mean, yeah, I think I give you this sort of nod and like friendly, but not overly evocative wave that lets you like engage as much as you want, but also sort of recede if it looks like you're about to try to recede, even though Tati is presumably not letting you.
Just hanging on your elbow. And you should try this one. And I mean, I
Yeah,
heard
there's
you trying out
lots of
different jams,
pastries.
but like,
Hermetis
There
will
are-
try one of the pastries.
There are lots of pastries of varying kinds. There is also, the two breakfast foods that I will mention. One, the pastry Sfogliatel. I don't know if anybody has seen it or had it. It is, I will send pictures of it. It is amazing. It's like, got these like thin, it almost looks like you take a croissant type thing and you slice it very, very thinly, but not all the way to the bottom. Here, I'm going to send this picture in the Discord. And it's dusted with sugar, and you are more likely to find it in the South, but it is very good. There's a lot of that. And then the Italian breakfast I was the most skeptical of, but that I ended up really, really liking, was prosciutto and melon. So there are also plates of like fresh thin slices of prosciutto and like slices of various melons with like a little bit of salt. And I was very much like, in the morning, but it ended up being fantastic. So highly recommend. And then a lot of the various pastries, but Isaac is probably eating like 3 of these at a time. The ones that I put in the chat.
As a sidebar, I love to imagine like this is the bulk of Damon's prep for Isaac. Like, what kind of pastries are going to be here?
I literally pulled up, yes, to make sure. I literally was like, wait a second. Eric said they're doing it in the morning. Let me make sure I've got some good pastry mix.
Of course.
Amazing. Sazin, I think you should inform Isaac of what was on your mind.
Are you guys just gonna eat garlic bread in the meantime?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
Yeah, well,
Yeah, children are
we're
like
gonna take
crawling all over you, playing with toys and trying to get you to play with the action figures as well, for sure.
ooh, I have some action.
Some of the action figures are you, by the way. I've definitely like.
They
Oh,
do
sure.
have, for the record, they do have the Rooted action figures.
Yeah, there's rooted action figures.
Nice.
Yeah,
True.
they do.
You
They
had
do
to
have
buy
action
them.
figures,
You
that's
saw them in
awesome.
Ryport, and that's where you bought them.
100. Absolutely, I'm so glad I did. I've had to like hand make or get other local artists to make the others, so I was thrilled to find those.
It's got.
so Isaac, sorry to break
All
up.
right,
The,
what's on your mind?
yeah, sorry to break up the fun chats we all have going on here, but we did come for some information. Before we get too much into it, what's your relationship with Kendall?
The drunk. I sailed with him for about on and off for about 7 years. The middle-aged guy, I don't really remember his last name, begins with an R. He was
Point is
drunk
nodding
most
his
of the
head
time,
no,
but he can say
no.
no.
It's just
Kendall.
very subtly like
Kendall.
Thinking a little more closer to home, you know?
Oh, yes, the woman in the house. Oh, she sucked. Yeah, she was terrible.
Okay.
So not much of one.
You know, it seemed like everyone else here really got along with her a lot more than you did.
Yes.
I only got along with her
temporarily.
because I was compelled against my will, and now that he
Okay.
accused me of it, I fucking hate her.
Ruzit, I was
Yeah.
working my way towards that in case he was also charmed.
Oh no, a lot of that going around. No, I'm not a fan. And I recall their original. Yes, now that I'm thinking of it, their original. I don't think Isaac would use the word ensorcelment, but their psychic domination. Yes,
okay.
back in the day.
See, that's how I saw it too. All right, there's a lot going on here. I'll give you fast background version. Long story short, I joined with this group, after you left. At a certain point, we went back to 123 Merry Way. Everyone was acting way too chill about the creepy lady there, while also being weirded out about her. I thought it was strange. Every time I tried to talk to them, they just kind of clammed up and said everything was fine. Anyway, long story short, I did some digging and found out that she's a succubi, which apparently everyone else knew, but didn't really do anything about because they were kind of still charmed. Somewhere
Oh
along the way,
yeah,
I
we
found
made
out
the best of a bad situation.
yeah, apparently so. Really bad. By the way, she's like a princess of the succubi. She's way up there in the power structure. I don't know whether or not you know that.
Explains. No, but it explains the degree of pain in the ass that she was.
Yeah, no, she's really, really bad news. Anyway, so I heard you made some sort of deal in terms of keeping them from being fully ensorcelled. We were hoping to A, get some information about that, B, just hearing about how this experience went for you in general. The rest of them being charmed, I don't really know if they remember everything or if they're even privy to everything that happened. We, long story short, kind of need to take her down in one way or another. Maybe her 2 sisters and her mother as well, who are big players down in the Hells, or at least right near the Hells. Especially because Saphir's soul is currently trapped in their stronghold, which is kind of a bummer.
Oh, that's where got it. It's all coming together now.
yeah.
Okay.
So
it's
long,
a Smart Nose version.
long story short, Kendall seems to be related to the whereabouts of Saphira, and I mean, Sazin ultimately wanted to, because you were kind of the person least influenced by Kendall, so you might have the sharpest memory of who exactly she was.
Well, okay, we'll see. On the one hand, yes, Isaac was unaffected. A fun combination of the dice following some story elements there. But on the other hand, he also, I do think, hoping that this isn't just an in-character justification for, this being almost 2 years ago out of character, but I also think that Isaac genuinely, that was sort of run-of-the-mill. Isaac, was a bodyguard type figure for ships writ large, or other sailors, or for the party. And so I think the notion of there was a demon type creature. He's not as educated on the specifics. There was a demon type creature. She had a hold over the party. I had leverage in the moment. Can't remember the details on what the leverage was, but it's there to be used, not held on to. So I used it to break, or to make a deal, to, I believe, either break the charm as it existed on them, or sort of put a stop to it nip it in the bud. Like maybe, put a pause on it, just on the general. I got the impression that her charm had multiple stages or layers and instances of, failed saving throws. And so I either made a deal to break it, or to halt its growth, its influence, and just get her to get off our fucking backs. In exchange for, she wanted the house. Does she own the house? Is that the deal?
Coin jingles the keys. She's kind of a tenant.
Yeah, so that was some of the questions we had. Again, you may not remember. She's a tenant in the house, it seems like, and there's some question of what else she gets out of it. Are the other party members protected when we go in there? It seems like maybe not necessarily, because she did, I think, try and charm me. I definitely think
you would not have been part of my deal.
Okay, so there's also a huge concern then, in that we think they've been sending members of the consortium in there, which could mean that the entire consortium is...
Yes, because... Well, okay, yes, but that part is not my fault. My goal there was that I thought I had outsmarted her, and because I said, of course, you can fuck with the consortium all you want. And then I immediately went and told the consortium everything, start to finish, and assumed they would do something about that. But that was distinctly beyond my pay grade. So yes, I did leave that hole open because, yeah, that was beyond my assignment. I was trying to get the party out of danger.
Yeah, good plan.
I thought I had
worst case scenario may have happened.
Yeah, well, that does sound like it is the case. Yeah.
But I think Isaac could probably intuit that it was probably more Coin's department that the consortium was given the go to, well, we know she's there, but if you want to use it anyways, you could throw 20 gold my way every month and do it.
Oh, that's extremely funny. Yeah, like I said, out of my hands at that point, I felt like I set people up with I dealt people the best strategic hand out of a bad situation that I could. How they play that hand, all up to them. Hey,
to be clear,
you've got a killer fire ant corn dog idea out of it. So
again, to be clear, the entire party has basically ignored this whole problem, except for the one time we went there, where the new people got charmed, except for me, and I'm like, this seems bad. Should we be doing something? And everyone's like, nah, it's probably fine.
Because I guess I see that. She has agreed to leave you alone. Well, I say you, speaking to the certain members of the party. So I can see it. That also, that whole attitude of I don't know, Rusid has taken on a pretty screw her position. But there is a general nonchalance that I I hear you, dude. in terms of like, in terms of potentially suspecting that there's still some influence there.
It's just hard too because this group has terrible like when it comes to threat level assessment, they're really all over the place. So it's hard to say sometimes how much is them and how much is maybe they're charmed.
That
I don't
house
know, I
is
think
in.
the
Oh,
influence
speaking
is
of, you
gone.
guys are going to Pitney Bones after this, right? Speaking of threat assessment.
Yeah, that's on the list.
I'm playing with the kids with the toys, and I'm like, and that's the sound of a fey elf being smug.
Tati!
Trying to make a doll of Pitney Bones. Do you want to please explain to them, Tati, why that's a bad idea?
This one's
Pitney's on the
Bruisin, and if
list.
you wind up his tail, he flies his wings.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's a great toy idea.
It,
gotta
it also
be
has real
recent
barfing
catchphrases.
action.
Yeah, perfect. I like to think there's also like rooted catchphrases that if you say like they do the enlarge spell on the, on the stuffed on the toy or something.
Ooh, I
Oh,
like that
fellow.
one a lot too. Gonna have to talk to an enchanter.
Yeah, the toy
Yeah, but
triples
I'm-
in price, but it is fun.
It also
firmly
triples in weight. Very fun.
I'm in the firmly in the screw the evil apparition club, but like I wasn't always like that. Like I'm pretty sure I got cured because like every time I would think about her, there would always be like this kind of thing in the back of my mind that just would like kind of tone me down a little bit. But now I can like just go full force and just like scream about her and angrily, which is what I've always wanted to do. So I think something changed.
Not over the
Well-
breakfast table though.
Isaac was there with us when Leslie showed us the Palace of Crimson Glass or whatever it's called, and we saw Kendall in her domain, and that kind of broke the curse somewhat. I'm a little uncertain of myself just because I had my own incident recently involving being charmed by something and not being able to recognize it until it was too late. But we're not 100. We're taking as best precautions as we can to know for a fact that we're not charmed by her anymore. But the problem is it's impossible to be 100% sure because the initial the sort of the first level of the charm broke when we saw her. The first level of the charm broke when Isaac made a deal with her. And then the second level of the charm broke when we saw her in the Hells. And then Saison also cast Dispel Evil and Good on all of us. So, like, that's his...
Oh, that was heavier duty magic than I believe we would have had access to at the time
Yeah.
in terms of like restorative or abjurative stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so, Saison's been taking us aside one by one and surprising
Being like,
us
hey,
with
bro,
that.
she sucks, but magically.
Yeah, exactly.
So remember,
and-
kids, when it comes time to put your tribute points in, save some for wisdom.
Yeah.
Or party
So-
with someone that has wisdom. All good options.
True.
Yeah, so bottom line is we're pretty sure we've broken the spell as much as is possible at this point, but given the amount of power that Kendall has, we don't know for certain, and we may never know for certain how much of a hold she still has on us.
Well, and I imagine once you kick down the front door of her house, all bets are off.
Yeah.
We can be stealthy, guys. Like, that is an option.
I'm looking
do
at
have
several
some-
of your like heavy armor.
Don't look at Saison.
Hey,
He's
hey,
never
look,
tried it
look.
before.
Look at my elven boots that help with my
Okay.
sneaking. I'll have you know,
Oh,
I'm
there we
not
go.
as bad as I could be.
Perfect.
We do have some leads on potential weaknesses for her. I'm gonna rattle off some keywords. In character, I don't expect you to know it. Out of character, I
Sure.
also don't expect you to know any of them.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Kaelor? He's a person, a knight.
No.
No? Alright, how about the mirrored order?
Kayvor, Kayvor.
Kaelor.
Less attractive. Either way, no.
All right. We got that. We got the mirrored order. I don't expect you to know that. Wait.
That might be ringing a bell because of out of character stuff. That seems more likely. Eric, is there any way Isaac would have heard of them? Or?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
I
it's
expect
ringing
you
a
to
bell.
know none of these.
It's not for Isaac. Okay, go ahead.
All right. How about Glimmerdeep?
No.
Great.
Yeah, that checks out. Song of First Binding.
You would not know anything about that.
Yeah, let's go. How about the Primordial Sigil?
Primordial at least is closer, but I'm guessing still probably no. What's the answer here, Eric?
What was the thing? I'm sorry, repeat that?
Primordial Sigil.
No, he doesn't know about. He's heard of it, but he doesn't know anything about it.
Okay. How about the Vault of Withered Hands?
He would not know that.
Did you just find like a book full of nouns with capital letters?
These are a bunch of things
are
the Demon
fancy
Skull
names.
told us. The Demon Skull answered a bunch of questions. I mentioned this to you earlier.
Now,
I've got like two more. I've got like two. Yeah, don't you worry.
I am
You
going
were
to
making
send
snide
Damon
comments.
one small bit of information because there's someone that Isaac would know who knows about this stuff. So,
Oh, I'm glad I'm asking because really, I thought I was just gonna have you say no to all of these.
No.
But in character, is what I do.
Yeah.
All right, I've got like two more. All right, we got the Eater of Quills. I'm assuming that's a no.
correct.
No.
I knew that.
And then the Obligatum Successionist.
No.
No, that's a
Yeah,
cool
all right,
comic
wow.
book villain though. Like that's
Well, I think-
that's a great name.
It might be a villain for us at some point too, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, comic book villain is a compliment for me. But yeah, that's a fun name. But no, I don't know any of those.
I'm going to be sending information over to you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, when Isaac's heard of stuff, it's usually through connections. Because most of his job has been the resident storm sorcerer on ships that are transporting very valuable goods or people.
Nice.
To give them good. I mean, the easy version of that job is just give everybody good weather. The tough version of that job is like, a Kraken.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, long story short, basically what we have is there may have been an ex-lover of Kendall who never fell fully under her spell, who is still vaguely alive somewhere out there. Sounds a little bit sketchy. And if we have him confront her in a certain special way, it might weaken her.
That
There's a person who is you said former lover?
Yeah, some form of, they had some form of relationship with Kendall and never fully fell under the spell.
The one that got away.
Okay, and
For lack of better
Okay.
terms.
got it. It's starting to ring a bell. But to confirm, and some of the things you listed, I honestly didn't. Some of those are like items, or are those people or organizations, or are most of them like items that you're looking for to use against?
So
Kendall?
Kaelor is the guy. He's supposedly a knight of the Mirrored Order.
Okay.
We can find him in Glimmerdeep.
Wow, I
Some
thought
of these
you were
relate
right
to
about
other
that.
things.
Right.
Other words. Kendall. If Kendall's name is spoken during the Song of First Binding, she'll be forced to face a contract. Again, some of this I was kind of hearing secondhand from someone else who was asking about their soul being captured by her. But some sort of like, if you get her to say her name during the Song of First Binding, she's going to have to face the base contract that her powers are based off of, which don't stem from her. It's some sort of really old contract. Don't really know how it works, figuring that out. I think the Obligatum Successionist is actually the contract, maybe, or I'm just making that up. That was definitely a word I heard, and I think that's how it is. The Primordial Sigil, let's see here.
Oh no, go ahead, please. The primordial sigil.
That's apparently an item which you can find and destroy, and if you burn under moonlight, moonless sky, in the presence of someone who loved you before the pact, it'll break the pact. So this other person who we're helping out, has some sort of pact. I don't know if it's just Kendall has your soul or something else is going on there. If you find that sigil and destroy it in the proper way you're supposed to, it can break whatever pact she has going on. That's probably another way to weaken Kendall, but I don't know exactly.
Okay, I mean, it does sound like it sounds like we may already be converging a bit here, but I do know somebody who would know more about Glimmerdeep and is sort of a collector, hunter of dark artifacts.
Really?
Who tends to know about this type of thing. It would be somebody I would follow up with about this type of thing.
Hey, any assistance would
her
be
name
great.
is Ashlyn. Yeah, her name is Ashlyn DeLeese, and she. Am I making sure? And I don't.
You got it.
Not 100% sure I got this part, but I think she is also the one that got away. Is that the same person you're describing?
No.
Or is the one that got away is a different person?
Correct.
Okay, great. I was like, damn, I don't know that. I was like, Ashlyn gets around more than I thought. Okay, no, Ashlyn is the. But Ashlyn would know both about Glimmerdeep and about some of these items,
Yes.
which at least gets you part of the way there.
That would be huge. Do you know where we can find her or get in touch?
Yeah, he's got. I assume he's got like a clue of how he would begin looking. I don't know that he's got like an address or direct contact, but I assume he's got like. Does he have like a first step he would take if he were to begin looking? I guess all else fails, Isaac would know how to use sending to get in touch, but I would also otherwise like reach out to Samara or other like underground contacts to maybe try and reach out. Is that? I mean, I don't know. Maybe Isaac can do a skill check here.
Okay.
Or,
You have his sheet up?
Yeah, I do. It's so funny how I realized how battle oriented it is. I was like, maybe I have to like do insight or something. But like, then I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, sure. And if I have to like blow up the building, I guess we can pull that off.
Yeah, you should do that.
Oh, you know what? I don't know that Ashlyn counts as legendary. I know she would like to think of herself as legendary.
Oh, she is.
All right, great. Then I mean, I could also just legend lore, and hopefully that brings me up to at least some of the more recent pieces about her without having to touch base with her directly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Eric? What makes
we can do that. We can do that. I don't mind.
Yeah, I'll legend lore.
All right, we're going to legend lore on Ashlyn DeLeese. Awesome. Cool. As you guys have the legend lore cast, we are going to shift the image over to a distant ship as the legends talk about a pirate, a privateer who wanders the seas of Toivoa seeking dark artifacts. She hunts ex-crew members who have stolen from her and seeks powers that are better left either in the depths or buried. She wants them for her own purposes, not to cause problems, but rather to acquire them as part of her collection. It's more of a point of pride for her as opposed to utilization. Ashlyn DeLeese is the captain of the Abyssal Wraith, a swift black ship with black sails that appears in the fog at night and chases down other ships. She's ruthless, yet practical in her dealings with people who she views as beneficial to work with. Ashlyn is said to have killed hundreds of crews and spared thousands simply because they did not stand in her way. People who surrender to her are typically press-ganged into either joining the crew or released, depending on how useful they are perceived. The least useful of them are let go to wander and cause the crews of other ships to be less effective, while she takes the best for herself. Ashlyn is a powerful sorceress, witch, and blade dancer. She's considered to be the rival and general, let's call it detractor of Saphira, as she views Saphira as direct competition for the legendary position of Pirate Queen.
Noted. Don't bring that up.
So I wouldn't mention who this is all for.
Yeah, I'd say that's really good to know. Good news is we have so many cursed things that she'd probably be interested in.
She is the type
You'd
of.
be interested in too. Toddy, don't you have your thing? That gauntlet or whatever?
That gauntlet?
Or whatever? I don't know what it's called. What is it? That item, that thing you wanted to give, right? You still have it.
Are you talking about Spellbreaker?
Yeah, that thing.
I gave Spellbreaker to Judith in hopes that she would help it find a good home.
Oh, I thought you were gonna give it to Isaac.
Oh no, I thought Isaac would just look real dope in that cloak we found.
Oh, well, that works too.
So I guess with her being as legendary as she is, she's the type of person that like you can just sort of reach out to various underground contacts
Of course.
to begin looking from there.
Yeah, while Saphira may be referred to as the Pirate Princess, Ashlyn would be the Pirate Queen.
For now.
For now.
Well, one person's currently out there getting their reputation up. The other one's sitting in a bag of holding. So the gap's widening.
Is there like only one pirate kingdom? Is that why there's only
You
one?
said. That's fine. Good question.
Don't worry about it.
But sorry, in the bag of. I thought you said Saphira is with a bunch of succubi.
I'm gonna pull out Saphira's effectively lifeless corpse from
So-
the bag
Her
of holding.
soul
So-
is with the succubus. Her body is right here.
So, for the visual of
Okay,
this,
I actually
face it-
don't let you do that. Real quick, I don't let you do that. My children are right here. Like you have
Right.
don't
the
do
bag of holding
Hey, we get, like,
opens.
the hair out.
Big B's hand like immediately just shoves up and like plumps down on the bag of holding, and it's like, no, I got it. I get the image. I'm sad. I got it.
She's not dead. She's totally fine. She's in a suspended state of animation.
Eyes roll back
Feel
up
like
at the
we're
top
very
of her head.
Oh, funny.
I told you we should
Okay.
just leave her
The visual,
bank.
the
No,
visual I wanted
I
to get
almost-
to was just a head of Saphira coming out of the bag of holding and then being put back in.
And then just the head peeks out, and then before the kids notice, the Big B's hand like shoves it back in.
You know, I almost got arrested at a cafe earlier for doing the same thing.
So funny.
It's like you don't learn your lesson.
Wow, it's like everyone else in the party.
I'm
It's
so
one of
glad
many
you feel
things
at
that
home with
are
us.
not against his oath.
That's okay.
Hey, taking care of a friend's corpse in a bag of holding, you're allowed to do that according to oaths. Still not allowed to use sovereign glue to glue people's mouth shut. That's still off the table.
I think
Man.
your vibes
Still
are
on
real
this?
weird.
I know of only one thing that is against your oath.
Just
Okay, there are other
really-
things. I don't think I want to list them out.
Let's check them off.
Tati, no.
What is your plan for getting to? Just out of curiosity. So let's say it sounds like your next steps are to try and gather some tools or weapons or items that you feel like would be useful in confronting Kendall and her coven. Do you have a way of getting to that castle already sorted? Does Leslie get you there? Is there already a plan?
We are still very
Wrong.
much in the formative phase of. We just found out a couple days ago that Kendall might be in possession of Saphira's soul gem. That we're still trying to work out how do we get there, and then what do we even do once we get there.
Yeah, we were gonna go
Yeah,
buy
this-
some chastity belts after this.
Awesome.
Wait, you guys don't already have one?
No.
And I'm imagining these are so that you wear them while you're selling the fire ant corn dogs, like on the street.
Oh, misunderstanding. Very easy misunderstanding. No, it's unrelated. Though I will probably repurpose them afterwards.
For
Chastity belt. I like it.
You're giving me ideas. You're giving me ideas, is what I'll say.
there are some issues in terms of A, we don't fully know where the castle is. B, I mean, once we find it, we need to figure out how to get to it because I assume it's going to be quite difficult to travel there. C, how to actually storm a place filled with succubi. D, just killing Kendall really isn't going to be enough because, like I said, she has two sisters and her mother. As a matter of fact, I don't even necessarily know if the sisters, from what I've read, I don't know if I mentioned this to everyone else. I took another book from the Dragon's Library on this topic. The sisters don't necessarily get along. They seem to kind of scheme against each other at times. So it's entirely possible that that's another possible in we have, although I really, really don't want to be working with the sisters, and I especially don't want to be working with Kendall, because that feels like it's right up her alley.
I think in a best case scenario, like, surely there's a scenario we don't interact with them at all. We just find our way to Saphira and, smuggle her out.
I mean, that would be the stealth plan, which, Tati, you can take the lead and I'll not follow because I think I would give you away.
We'll let you
I
be
mean-
the distraction.
Well, Tati's thinking the same direction I'm thinking. The stealth plan doesn't have to mean, folks, and I'm gesturing both at myself and Size and others as I'm saying it, like, that are not suited to stealth. Stealth wouldn't have to try and, like, fit a round peg into a square hole, but just, be a distraction, blow stuff up. At the risk of suggesting that you guys split the party when I have no fucking skin in the game.
We would never.
But that's a cool mission idea, right? Of like 2 or 3 people doing like the stealth thing while others draw out a bunch of attention.
I was going to say I'm really worried about people getting trapped, although with that thing that we're keeping secret and not mentioning to other people, the danger of that maybe is a little bit less, although it does still have limitations in terms of hollow ground.
So neither Isaac nor Seizen nor Oshin were here for this technically, but there was a point where we did try a distraction when we were trying to like break into this house way back when. I don't recall it working well.
On the other hand, do you remember when we attacked the flight risk before it was the flight risk?
Yeah.
And we had a really
Yeah.
successful distraction. Well,
Yeah.
some of us were very sneaky.
Howdy makes a good point.
That, to be fair, you did save the ship in terms of not having a giant demon appear. Oh, that was pretty cool.
No disagreement there. But the thing is, in that instance, we kind of knew where the objective was, and the objective and the fight were very close to each other. In contrast, even if we had like locate object and we found Saphira's soul gem, unless it turned out to be, I'm very concerned that anybody who steps more than 30 feet away from Seizen once we're near the palace is just going to effectively disintegrate immediately.
So for context, Isaac, the Changemaker blew up and then we got another ship, and that one also has blown up now. Just so you
Well,
follow
the
along.
Changemaker didn't blow up. It got swallowed by a Leviathan, and then the Leviathan got banished to the elemental plane of water.
Which was
Never mind.
very cool, and it
that
lives
seems-
on in the plane of water now. I tell the
Not
kids.
really making.
That seems much like the
Well, doesn't it
opposite
live
of
on in the
going.
plane of water in the Leviathan's stomach?
I got a feeling the bread baker didn't care for the specifics of how we lost our ship. I was just giving him.
I'm pretty sure the
Some
Leviathan already
context.
digested it by now. Like, let's be honest with ourselves.
I think there's no reason why it can't be.
Anyways, you are right. We do have more experience with stealth and distraction now.
Does Judith also potentially not have? I'm assuming, just from the fire ant idea alone, by the way, that you're rich at this point. But does Judith not have items that can protect you from, from charm, even temporarily?
Well, it's not even just the charm, although that's vitally important. It's the fact that, once you're going up against hordes of demons and things like that, a lot of this party is pretty squishy, and a strong sneeze will take them apart. See Tati stepping outside the happy circle during our fight with Sagaeos and dying instantly.
Dyson is a nervous Nelly. That means he's afraid of anybody getting too far away from his apron strings.
35 feet and you die every single time. It's not as nervous Nelly if it's true.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
I start reaching into the bag of pots if
you're unconscious.
Got a point.
So you're hoping that some of these items that were on your list will help you sort of with, or I guess wouldn't necessarily make the party less squishy. You were just pointing that out because you think that it might prevent you from splitting the party successfully.
At the very least, let's say some of these items can be used to take down Kendall. Let's say, I know Kendall is separate from the Hells in general. She makes appearances out here. If we could separate her and take her out, I imagine there's going to be quite a lot of confusion inside their actual stronghold. At the very least, there'll be a power vacuum, a lot of crazy stuff going on. Then maybe we'll have a better chance of slipping inside, or even storming the place if there's going to suddenly be infighting. I don't know really any of this, because quite frankly, none of us know anything. All I know is taking out at least one of the major power players is good, whether we were trying to sneak or whether we're trying to storm the place.
Okay. I mean, I have two thoughts. One that sort of is like, I guess, good news or bad. One that's positive and one that's somewhat negative, or optimistic or pessimistic, rather. One is that if that's a successful way of getting at Kendall, my guess is that the version of her that we see on this plane is something like an astral projection or an avatar. It's not the real her. So I think you should try it. I don't think you lose a ton by trying it. But my guess is that even if you bind whatever it is that shows up here, or defeat it or bind it in some way, that it may only be a piece of her rather than the real her. So it may be that may be a partial win at best. I feel like if you're Succubi Princess, you've lived a long time, you have the benefit of institutions kind of backing you on that sort of thing. But but maybe I'm wrong. Everybody gets cocky, right?
No, that's a good point.
The other one though is that a lot of these I don't know how much gold you guys have, but a lot of these problems are ones you can to some extent buy yourself out of, and they are cheaper to buy yourself out of it for a little squad team of 2 or 3 than for the whole party, generally speaking. So between spell scrolls of Hero's Feast, Mirror Image, Aid, a high level aid or 2, hitting the squishy members that are on the stealth mission. You still run the risk of them being dispelled, but hell, keep spending money on something like a contingency that kicks in if they get dispelled. All of these can be goal. All of these are problems you can buy your way out of. I just don't know what your budget is.
Not that crazy high. Yeah, we've got money, but we're not rolling in it.
We literally were rolling in it.
We are literally rolling it. I was rolling
it. You're talking a handful of spell scrolls, probably. Unless you just have something really cool, that can help you with the charm, which would also be great.
I slept in a pile of gold 2 days ago.
Did we not tell Sizen about that though? Because he left right afterwards. Maybe he didn't realize that we had counted it. Did we not tell him?
We gotta update him.
But yeah, you are right. Buying our way through some of these hurdles would be pretty beneficial, and we hadn't really considered it prior to this conversation.
I think a lot of the lessons Isaac has learned, he has learned from helping escort VIPs. So when there are very rich wizards on your ship that you're keeping safe, and you hear the way they talk, you're like, huh, damn, that's true, isn't it? And you're you're hearing them be like, oh, we just solved that. You just buy a few spell scrolls, and you're like, fuck, I guess yeah, okay, noted, yeah. So I think
honestly, On that note, another possibility is trying to not exactly buy Saphira's soul back, but make a deal for it. Although, once again, I don't know if I really want to be helping Succubus, because whatever they're going to ask for is probably not going to be something.
Oh, I mean, it depends on what, Ashlyn may have something that they want, that they care more about than Saphira's soul. But I don't know. Isaac kind of looks around the group and knows that not everybody shares this opinion. But in my opinion, that's somebody else's problem. This is our friend. Get her back. Does it make a succubus coven more powerful? Who cares? Heroes will deal with that. We are maybe some of us are heroes some of the time. Right now, we are people with a friend who needs help. So get her out.
Ditto.
How we got into this problem in the first place?
Yeah, well,
Twin
that's a
Trust
conversation
agreement.
for you to have with Saphira afterwards. But in my opinion, but
No, it's good take. It's a good take.
Isaac, I had a question. I saw a cloud the other day that kind of looked like a frog. Was that you?
totally. Excuse me. It looks like a grode.
Yes. Ah, I knew it. When it goes back to eating right after that question.
Is there anything else anyone thinks we could ask, or?
How are the kids?
They keep getting taller, which is crazy. I also think we're going to go on a vacation soon. I think if Isaac just got done, helped you guys out with the Sigeos mission, I think it's time to go on a vacation. But we're trying to. Oh my God! Wait, just because this is a comedic image in my mind, we're currently auditioning chefs to take over. In the meanwhile, to keep things
No,
running.
we're not.
And John
There's
Carlo,
no one
any of them. Yeah,
auditioning.
exactly. Right,
There's
exactly.
no chance.
So far, none of them really make it all the way through the door, but we have a few more scheduled. We'll see how they go.
My
If
condolences.
a guy named Bipto shows up, don't let him in.
You should send me some of your
Go ahead.
some of your contenders. Send them my way. The second, third places.
Yeah.
They're
I'll
all
get at my-
second place or third place.
Okay, maybe don't send all of them then. I'm gonna send a couple.
He thinks that he can replace me that easily.
I just want us to keep making a little bit of money while we are on vacation. But I mean, we can play,
Vacation. How about a staycation? You're always gone.
But you guys never get to go see places. So let's
How
go
about
see
seeing you?
We're not having this conversation right here. Well, we'd all be together. We're not having this conversation right here.
When it says to his party, this seems a little personal.
You're it's like the conversation takes into the foreground, and you're slinking off into the edge of the street,
All right.
carrying the food with you like an anime.
All right, so you guys can retreat from Giancarlos's, leaving Isaac to the wrath of Giancarlo as they will hash out where they're going for their vacation, if they manage to depart at all. Thank you for coming in, Damon. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. Talk to
We
you all
love
soon.
you.
Hey, man, it's
We
great to
love
hear
it.
you.
Love you all.
Let's go.
See you later.
Let's go,
And
David.
I will be in touch with you tomorrow, hopefully. So,
Yeah. Sounds good.
I didn't
Everybody-
even
man.
get
Thank
to
you
put
for
Isaac on
showing.
a fashion show.
all right. So, you guys have a couple of leads. What would you like to do?
Good question.
Well,
I
it seems
somehow feel
like
good and bad about all of them.
the two major tasks that are in front of us are we need to find a way to the palace in the Hells or near the Hells,
So the
and
glimmer
then
keep
we need to prepare for whatever we might encounter there.
I think we should head to Silver Spar. Get some first-hand experience. I mean, not our first-hand experience. I would like to hear second-hand about first-hand experience.
We need some third-hand experience. Our own third-hand experience, it sounds like.
Hey, information is power. And talking to more people is definitely qualifies as doing those two things.
So where would we need to travel to?
What was it called? The Palace of Red Glass?
That's ultimately where we'd be going.
That's where we believe that Kendall resides, and where we believe Saphira's soul gem is.
Do you think I like trying to discover information about what's her name? Ashlyn the most, I think she would have some good leads. I do think we need to
and lure her out.
I think we need to stay away from the consortium on this one, because I quite frankly can't trust any of them in terms of I don't know who may or may not be charmed. And
finally, somebody on this team speaks sense.
Eric,
hey, I never signed up with them.
That's me either. Like everyone else has these little boot badges.
I would think Coin, as a cartographer, being so obsessed with maps,
Yes.
I would wager he would have an intuition of like, where could I find someone with, you know, the kind of map that would lead you towards hell?
Ooh.
Like something a bit more obscure information-wise, but like surely someone has made the journey there and documented it. Would Coin have an intuition of where to find that kind of person?
Let's see. Normally, Coin would ask Saphira for this type of information.
I'm sure, but
Maybe Armenos knows.
You need a Diabolist.
So you do need a Diabolist. You were told that Samara may have some contacts regarding this, so she may be a resource. You were told that by Isaac just now.
right.
So
Yeah,
Samara
I do
may
need to
be able to
visit-
give you more information.
Where is Samara?
I do need to visit
Very
Samara
natural.
anyway. Because I need to give her some sort of magic item from Sageos's, or just from the island. Speaking of which, we need to go through those items and see what we can give to her. But for the help she gave us, that's what was promised.
Well, then I know where we're going.
Cool.
To Samara.
Awesome.
We should before we get there. Let's discuss here as a group. What are we giving her? What do we still have left from Sageos's island? I should have thought about this earlier. We've got. I mean, I guess the wings hypothetically could give those, although they're kind of nice. What's into that?
Coin's gonna pat his pockets. He does not, and I do not recall what else is kind of remains
him a
from the
high
island
five.
until. Yeah.
Pat him back, maybe.
Somehow, I think she would be very unhappy with that and would not want to work with us if we did that.
Maybe it's time to make a bunch of IOUs.
This is already an IOU.
What if we go pick up some seashells by the seashore, and maybe that's enough?
What if
Not
I
for
give my
nausea.
IOU to them?
Why? Can someone remind me why bed linens from Rio no Usume are magic items?
It's you had to be there.
You're asking me.
I was there.
Man.
Yeah, I have no idea what those are.
Maybe they're really comfy. Have you tried using them?
No, actually. I mean, we picked them up because Coin wanted them. I thought he was
Maybe
going
if
to
you-
sell them.
Maybe if you used them on a
Bedlinens?
bed and actually slept there.
Yeah,
like maybe those were
remember
extra
when
rested?
we were in that town that was just on fire forever?
Yeah.
We braved
yeah,
the
that
fire
place.
to rescue the bed linens.
Oh, they were like silk, right?
They're like real nice bed linens.
That's like a completely separate, basically abandoned quest line. If you go down to coins, papers, and such.
I'm just wondering why it's listed as a magical item in the bag.
That
of
I don't
holding.
know. I truly do not know. I guess
You
because
were
they're
the
not on
one that
fire.
organized the bag of holding.
They weren't on fire.
These
Hey, I-
bedlins are magical because they're not on fire.
Okay, I did not move anything out of the section it was not already in. That was whoever. I guess it would have been me.
Your
Point
fault.
where
Maybe like their thread count is just magically high.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just gonna leave it there because it must have been there for a reason. So I'm gonna
It's
leave it
gotta
there.
be
Leave
so
it there.
comfy, right? Like, surely we
There-
could use this at some point.
Yeah, we
At
need
some
a
point-
bed.
We'll be able to look them up, and they'll be magical items.
Is this really the most pressing matter?
No, you wanted to know what was in the bag of holding that we could offer. I was looking. I found bed linens.
Make note, everybody. Bed limit.
The problem is, it specifically has to be something, a magical item we got from Sageos' island.
We sold all of those.
Well, we've got the wings. That might be what we have to do, unfortunately.
We could also
Kinda-
just go diving. We could probably find something else on the island.
I mean, if you want to go back and find, it has to be. I think it has to be a magic item. I should confirm that. It's been a while.
Would she be cool with formerly magical? Because I have this pocket watch. No longer works, but it probably used to.
I mean, something tells me she wouldn't be really happy about that, if I'm being honest. But
Okay, well, happy is not the same as like a square deal. You can be happy with unhappy with a square deal.
it's just been so long, I don't remember for sure what I promised. Let me see.
Everyone would be looking forward to see what happens if you go to Samara empty-handed.
Could be fun.
Yeah,
Also,
see,
I'm sure
here
would
we
be
go.
entertaining.
What if you show up with a story?
I feel like
Sometimes
that
you
would
gotta-
please you, but maybe not Samara.
I might let you through a door.
Okay. I promised Samara a magic trinket from Sageos. Okay, so the wings seem like more than a trinket. Did we get like any +1 items? Surely we must have picked something like that up, right? Oh, I'll give her one of the potions I have.
Is that really a magic trinket? I guess.
A tainted unstable mana potion? Or a tainted unstable healing potion? For sure. That's
Well, she
definitely
doesn't
right.
know it's tainted.
This is
so-
awful.
Well, I'm gonna tell her.
Oh, I thought you were down for lying now. I thought that was part of your MO.
Okay. Once again, time and place. Not just to throw it out there.
does not your
Wait,
oath does
your
not
oath
prohibit
does
you from
forbid lying?
delivering.
Okay, once again, I'm allowed to lie if I'm doing it for good reasons to help people.
You want to buy her a salt shaker while we're at it?
What if that itself was a lie?
Okay, now you just can't trust anything I say. Everyone in this group lies constantly. Bryn was lying to us like left and right just a day ago.
Do I lie?
Oh, well, why is Bryn catching a stray here?
No, because he's not backing me up.
This isn't about Bryn. This is about you.
Well, I'm making it about Bryn. How could you, Bryn? We're all so disappointed.
You're not helping your case much, buddy.
Well, I tried.
To be clear, it is not against your oath to deliver dangerous toxic substances to people.
I'm gonna tell her it's a dangerous toxic substance.
Because
Wait. Isn't glue a dangerous toxic substance?
Okay.
Kinda, yeah.
I am allowed to do things with glue. I just think it's a good blanket rule to have it banned because some things are off the table, and those seem to always be the things you want to do with them.
I did not promise to get her a trinket, so I will leave it to your discretion what we give her.
Better not
I
be
feel like-
something too shitty.
Well, I feel like that tainted unstable potion would be at least interesting for her. And oh god, now I'm a little bit worried. Do we think she'd abuse it? I feel like
That's
anything.
what
I
you're
would
worried
give her-
about?
I feel like anything I give her, she's gonna use for vaguely nefarious reasons.
Well, is
I
it
mean,
against supposed
honestly,
to do
most
something
people-
that indirectly causes harm because of something out of your control? I don't know.
Well, is it out of my control if what I do causes that?
Well, how
I
could
feel
you
like
know
a
that?
lot of people receiving a tainted potion would immediately put it back in your face and have you drink it.
Well, I chugged a lot of. Do you remember how many I drank? You were unconscious or something. I drank a lot of these things. My stomach
Wait,
is
what if
still a
you
little
what if
iffy.
you bring multiple so that when she eventually forces you to drink one to like prove a point or something, you drink it and you're like, "Oh, I'm fine. Like the potions are great." And then you sell her on the second one?
First of all, why is she forcing me to drink this? I'm gonna tell her up front it's tainted and like you probably shouldn't drink it.
I don't
I
know.
just
Toddy
think-
said that it would happen and I believe Toddy.
I just think you promised this woman like a gallon of milk, and you're bringing her a block of cheese right now.
I agree, but
What's
we
wrong
don't
with a
have
block
any
of
milk.
cheese?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just sort of like not what was expected.
I mean, I could use some cheese.
To be clear, I think a block of cheese would be a great gift. I don't
mean,
think there
again-
was any on the island.
If anybody has any item that is not that expensive and is still a little bit magical, and from the
And
island,
came from
right?
Sageos. The
Yes,
bag
well-
of purple frenzy came from Sageos, right?
Well, she specifically wants something from the island, and I can't technically confirm that came from the island, so I feel bad about that one.
Does she want something from the island because she wants to teleport there? Because that's our
And
island.
I'm a little worried about that, to be honest, but
But what's she gonna do with the island? Everyone's already dead.
well, we can give her a warning, just a heads up that we
It's
own
our
the
island. Step off.
Yeah.
So she'll come prepared to fight us? That's great.
As a reminder, let's not go into this crazy aggro because we are coming to ask for a favor. Maybe that's a good reason to bring a thing of cheese instead of the gallon of milk, because this way it'll be like kind of favorable start.
I mean, I'm happy to help. I don't have any cheap magical trinkets from the island.
I think the potion.
Truth.
I think the potion's reasonably exciting, but not a huge loss for us because, quite frankly, most people here can't drink it safely.
If it makes you feel better, you can go ahead, Tati.
I have a Sageos scale necklace. Is that anything?
I guess that's something,
Oh.
right? That's a trinket.
That'd be cool.
Are we more worried about giving that to her?
What does it do?
I don't know.
I mean, anything made from items of Sageos is a little nerve-wracking.
Well, I mean, I didn't really want it.
If you're worried about this person misusing a gift, why did you offer to get them a gift?
Well, because it was that or not get assistance killing Sageos, which I do think was the greater evil we had to deal with.
Well, then at that
Also,
point,
it was mostly Saphira made the deal, and I was there.
that explains it.
Oh, we're sure in the blame now. I see.
I
Well, I don't think that's-
I felt like I was under attack the whole time I was there. Wild things were happening. I'd rather forget it all, but we're about to go back, so. She tried to marry us at one point, man. I don't know. It was crazy. You should have
Wait,
been.
she's trying to marry you? What?
Well, no, like she tried to marry Saphira and I, but
Wait, so it was like a throuple?
no. Well, I was very lost. Let's not. We're getting off topic.
Well, I think this lady could find powerful trinkets anywhere. I think giving her some scales is kind of whatever. If she's gonna find a way to use it, good for her. She's being utilitarian.
Unless the way to use it is like bringing back Sageos or something like that. Do we think there's any worry about that happening?
I don't see why she would help us kill Sageos in the first place.
Yeah, I don't
think
think
there's a
there's
conflict of
anything left of Sageos to bring back. I think unless you do some kind of true resurrection spell, which you could just do by saying his name.
Well, we could try the necklace. If that doesn't work, potion back up.
All right, works for me.
Thumbs up.
I will pass
This plan
you a
seems
necklace.
good.
Thank you, Tati. I appreciate you volunteering this. That's very kind.
Yeah, for sure. Take this off my thing.
Almost enough for me to forgive the racism. Not.
Racism.
Almost.
All right, should we head to Samaras?
Yeah, let's go.
Double thumbs up
Cool.
from Coin.
So you guys go down a couple of back streets before finding a stone wall that you're familiar with. As you guys approach, you know that you're supposed to knock on the wall. You remember the password, Sason?
Nope.
Okay. So you knock
Does
on the
anyone here
wall.
remember the password? I'm gonna ask them first. Anyone here know the password?
Oh,
I don't know. I
God.
just guessed 1, 2, 3, 4. That seems like a good password.
Jason, I only
Alright.
vaguely know who we're going to meet right now. No, I do not know the password.
Yeah, why are you
Fine.
asking me?
Well, I don't know if you guys have been. Saphira brought me here that you guys regularly came here, and then it was really uncomfortable, and a lot
But
was happening.
I would try 1, 2, 3, 4, and if that doesn't work, you could try password.
Coin's gonna
but
knock
Or you
hard.
could try bribing them.
Coin
I'm
knocks
just
hard
gonna-
twice.
Mm-hmm.
He
I'm
knocks
just gonna
hard twice
knock.
and says,
Let's see.
"Hey, we have Saphira."
You knock twice and you say, "We have Saphira."
Yeah.
All right. A section of the wall opens. One of the bricks moves out of the way. And you see a pair of eyes that looks you up and down. All right, come on in. And you guys are allowed in.
That was really that easy.
That's a weird password.
All right. So you go inside. You
Yes.
see Samara dancing on stage. She catches sight of you and continues dancing as she winks over at Sason.
Yeah, here we go.
She turns and starts to gyrate and twist her way in your general direction as a party. Are you going to stand here in the middle of the crowd, or are you going to find a seat?
Yeah, I think
For a minute,
Probably
we'll
with
find
a
a seat.
Is there a table
Yeah,
for
over the corner,
7?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's several tables around. Not a empty table for 7, but you can find plenty of seats throughout the establishment.
Coin's gonna
Four-person
push
table?
2 tables together, but he's doing it rudely, and it's just like screeching on the floor.
Okay. Understood.
that was
You
a really
guys
nice
can just
sunset.
pick up the table, right, Coin? Why are you bothering?
I don't know.
So-
So, Armando
Like,
trying
this is
to make
the
one of
middle of
those
a
tables empty.
So eventually she comes over and the song will end and she comes over to you, Sason, and sits in the chair next to you as she shoves the guy out of the way. He gets up and walks away, a little bit sheepish. So, I heard it went well. You can smell the saffron and perfume.
Well,
Dead
or
dragon, one dead party member, and one person missing their soul. So it's, yeah, it's like 60-40 a win.
60-40, 2 dead? It's not that
It's
bad.
70-30. It's like 70-30.
1.5 dead.
1.5 dead. That's not good numbers. What happened to the other half?
We're hoping you could help us with that, actually.
Really? Well, I already helped with one thing, and I haven't been compensated yet.
I'll bring out that necklace, the necklace of Sageos' scales.
Okay.
Would this pique your interest? I'll pass that over.
What is it?
Tati, what is it?
Why would I know?
You had it!
Pick up a lot of things.
Well, it's a necklace that has Sageos' scales on him. And Sageos' scales are really, really pretty and shiny and multicolored. And he's just really pretty in general.
Roll a
One could
persuasion
call it-
check, sir.
One could even call it aesthetically magical.
Aesthetically
dragon
magical.
skills-
Okay,
Dragon
so
skills
with
always are
advantage,
inherently
sir.
magical.
Go ahead and re-roll
Oh.
it because you got Coin's help on that one. So with an 18, it is really pretty. I think I'll accept. Thank you, Sason. This is always nice. Would you mind putting it on me? And she will
Yes.
turn her back to you, and you realize how strappy the back of this quote-unquote dress is. as she moves her hair out of the way.
I'm gonna hand it to Tati and kind of motion her to do it.
Tati, you see her roll her eyes at the situation because she recognizes that she has made Sison uncomfortable.
I give a half shrug because that's his default state. But I will help her put a necklace on.
She thanks you. How does it look, Sison, as she makes sure that it slides into position?
I'm gonna be honest, it clashes a little bit with the outfit, I think.
It's a shame.
Rude.
Well, maybe I should remove the outfit.
Just lose the outfit.
Wow, same wavelength, you two.
That was a good line. Damn.
And I feel like Sison was going that way.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's exactly what he was thinking, for sure. Or you could just take off the necklace. That's right there. It's
But it's the
You
new
just
thing.
gave her?
No, Sison, I wouldn't take it off. I'm going to keep it for a while. So, what's the assistance I can provide?
Ashlyn Delise.
Oh, the Pirate Queen. The whore of the sea.
Yeah, we think she might have some information that could be useful to us. Any chance you'd know how to get in touch with her and maybe meet her in a nice environment, not just try to take over a ship we're on environment?
Oh, I wouldn't try. I wouldn't even dream of trying to take over her ship. But you could meet her, I'm
I meant
sure.
more the other way.
Oh. Unless you have something of value to her, it's unlikely she would consider you much of a threat. But you may want to just visit her and see what you can negotiate. You see, knowledge is more important to Ashlyn than nearly anything else. Nearly anything else. There is one thing she lusts after, of course.
Tati, seems like a good old story trick might work, actually.
Unless, of course, you can get a certain animated trinket from one of the consortium members.
Ooh. What's it look like?
It looks like a walking lamp. One of those storm lamps, the hurricane lamps. It's got an arcane spark in it and small little crawly legs.
Aw, adorable.
Yes, it's
You know
quite
who
cute.
has it?
Yes, actually. He's secondary, of course. Ashlyn lusts after him, but not as much as the little lamp. Kier Katak, a member of the consortium, last seen teleporting to Shatter Shaddai in the audience of a necromancer by the name of Neve Dorcatus.
Necromancer. Sounds
That
like
person-
bad news.
No, am I making that up? Was that the person who sent Toivoan to us?
Yep.
Ah, God.
Well,
Surely it's not connected.
or, of course, you could simply reach out to her and negotiate knowledge. See, Ashlyn is all about knowing things. She's not necessarily about physical power, and will treat you as well as you treat her, as long as she views you to be useful.
I mean, I definitely think we know a lot of things and maybe even have items we could offer if it came down to it. So I imagine we could be useful. But how would you recommend getting in touch and just setting up the meeting, whether we decide to go after this lamp or just meet?
Well, I can, of course, facilitate that for a price, Sason. You're always so accommodating to my prices.
Yeah, I just love paying things.
Yes, last time it involved a night with Saphira and Tati. And you found it engaging, if I remember?
was
Truly
pretty fun.
couldn't wink of sleep.
Well, where is Saphira anyway?
She's the half. that
Oh
I mentioned
dear.
earlier.
Well, now I am motivated to assist, but there needs to be compensation. So, I'm willing to put you in contact with Ashton Delise in exchange for something that is worth my time. What do you say?
Can you elaborate a little
How do
bit?
you usually value your time?
I have plenty of gold. I'm not poor, and I dance here for fun. The boys like it, and, well, I do my best to entertain them. I'm looking for some possession that's entertaining. A bauble. Something that's exotic and one of a kind. This scale, I'm sure, is one of many. I'm sure you can come up with something that I would consider to be... And she doesn't touch you, but she traces just in the air, a quarter-inch away from your armor, Sason, something nearly unattainable.
Ma'am, have you heard of Grung Chess?
She looks at you. Yes, it's that game that's been raving throughout Toivoa, all of Reston, and even Corlin. It started in Ryport. It's quite engaging, and some of the boys are right over there playing it.
How am I not
It's-
getting royalties on this?
Oh, it's called the
Need to visit
Creative
the patent
Commons.
Okay, well, I need to go cut some heads off, but I'm gonna hold that. So I was going to offer one of one Grung chess set, but apparently I'm too successful for my own good. It's very attainable. I'm learning.
For the record, the Grun Chess game in Roll20 has been played like 47 times.
That's so funny.
Oh hell yeah! We need to set up a session for that. But
Yeah, I need to learn that.
I'll just refresh it so you guys can after the session. It is super simple, and it takes like 2 minutes to learn.
hell yeah!
I would like to play that because as the conceptor of Grung chess, I should really know how to play it.
I will have to refresh it after the session, because if I
Yeah.
exit out, it will cause problems.
Of course.
Seems like a pretty steep price to set up a meeting, to be honest.
Oh, but
I agree. Perhaps
you
perhaps
want
we
to
should
talk to
explore
Ashlyn, and
alternative
I
options.
don't.
What was that, Amanus?
That I agree. Perhaps we should explore alternative options
Such as...
a little bit quickly, such as not meeting with Ashland Elise.
Well, so if you're going to find alternative options, that's up to you. I encourage you to try. Coin, you've been granted inspiration because you don't know your own game.
It's an
Sad.
embarrassing way to get inspiration, but I'll take it.
Apparently, you need to be inspired to learn your own system that's been out for a year.
Apparently.
All right. Well, a pleasure as always doing business with you. She suddenly turns serious. She reaches out for a handshake, Sason.
Gotta be on good terms. I'll kind of hesitantly reach out and give a handshake and just say, "Oh, we'll
She
be
pulls
in
herself
contact."
closer
That's
to you
it.
and she whispers in your ear, if you ever decide to renegotiate, let me know. As her breath tickles the hairs on your ear, she lets go of your hand and heads back towards the stage with a jingle jangle of her outfit.
Gotta say, I much preferred when Saphira took lead on this.
Saphir could take the lead now, but it'd be very ineffective. Just saying. All right, so you guys want to depart from Samara's lair, for lack of a better term?
Lair.
I actually have it listed as Samara's lair.
Oh.
Sounds like it.
All right.
Wait, I'm gonna grab someone before we leave. Hey, what's the password to get in here again?
He looks at you and laughs. There is none, you fool.
Ah. God, we were just played like idiots. Yeah, fair enough.
All right. So you guys
There was
can
1, 2,
depart
3,
and go
4.
back out into the city proper. Where are we going? What are we doing?
Okay, group level. I feel like, quite frankly, that's still not a terrible option. We just need to find a truly unique item that would interest her. We've got some in our possession. Don't know if we want to specifically give any of those up, but it's possible.
Any chance that
Meadows.
she would take a? Any chance that we could convince her to take an IOU and say we'll bring something back from the Crimson Palace?
Solid
I mean,
direction. Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
Worth a
Hopefully we
shot.
find something there. We don't necessarily know we will.
Who would want something from there?
Well, she might.
Armenos, you seemed real keen on doing anything else. Do you have any suggestions?
Yes.
Have you met her before?
That's up to you.
Is one word for it.
Oh, did she take your ship?
After worse. After Inabari kicked Sapira off of our crew, and tried to make it on my own. Rallied my own crew. We went into conflict with Ashland Elise. We both wanted the contents of the same ship. Ended up in Davy Jones's locker. As did I, for that matter.
Who got the ship contents?
Davy Jones?
What do you think?
The sea?
Ashland Elise gets what she wants.
Ooh.
Does she want you to not be here?
I only hope that she doesn't remember me.
I mean, she didn't stab you, and you were 3 feet from her, so that's a good sign.
That wasn't Ash. Oh no, that was Ashland. That's right. What am I talking? No, that was Samara. What am I talking about? Yeah, that was Samara. So we haven't met Ashland yet. Good news: she kills a lot of people, so
Let's see.
it's possible that she doesn't remember. That does put a damper on introducing our party to her if we're traveling with someone that she may not have fond memories of. But again, there's a chance that doesn't matter. You assume don't want to risk it either way.
If it's for Saphira,
You know, I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way, but we haven't actually heard about how you fight, Hermanos. And I know a place called the Knuckle Dusters down the street. If you wanted to show us.
it's been some time since I've gotten my hands dirty.
Let's get a coat of dust on him then. I'm gonna look around at the party. I mean, it couldn't hurt before we get into a real combat situation.
Yeah.
Get familiar with Hermanos and let Hermanos get familiar with us.
While you fight him, have him tell you what other ideas he has.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I do think we should
Oh.
figure out what our next steps are, though. And at this point, honestly, Samara still might be our best bet.
Let's carry on this conversation
Yeah,
in the middle of the
that-
fight. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I could pick up Hermanos and slam him against the wall and see how he reacts.
I think we should put all our names in a hat and pick one out, and that person has to fight Hermanos one-on-one.
That sounds kind of fun.
Ooh,
That's what I think.
That's a
But if I get
solid
picked, I'm
idea.
100% winning. Just letting you know now.
At least put teams in.
We could do teams too.
2v2?
I like that.
I mean, we could do 3v3 with this many people, too. But
Yeah, well, at this point, just do 3v3.
We
Yeah.
could do 3v3 and we'll have a ref. I mean, I'd be down to ref
Ooh.
this.
Or it could
What
be
does the ref get to
2v2v2.
Does
If
the
you
ref
do-
just get to pick winners? Like, are they gonna buff people who are, like, what's going on here?
If
Why
you
don't
do 2v2, we can also make bets.
What if we do 2v2v2?
Well, now you're cooking, but you're also going to create a lot of in-groups in the party, and I can see this getting very dramatic.
Alright, go with these lucky
Dramatic.
pairings.
And also, if the point is to find out what Hermanos can do, what his fighting style looks like, then if we make it like a free for all, then it'll be less of a. I think I like the 1v1 or the 2v2. I think I need to set out because I need at least 1 or 2 more days to further recover from the wish spell.
Oh, I thought I could finally take Bryn.
Well, you probably could. regardless.
Well, that's what I mean because you're still out.
I feel like Tati's had a lot of hidden beef that she's just breaking out today.
Well, then let's do that. Bryn will hit the sideline. We can do. I think we start off with the 1v1 just so Hermanos can find their footing. It would be a little unfair to throw them into teams while they're still getting familiarized. That's my opinion. I'm ultimately down
Or
for
it's
anything.
the best way to make teams familiarized.
That is a good argument.
Let's go.
All right. So as you guys pack up and head towards the Knuckle Dusters, that's where we're going to end for tonight, and we will continue this adventure next week as we explore what happens next within the Toivoan Trainwreck.
Indeed.
As always, guys, thank you so much for choosing me to be your GM. There's a ton of amazing ones out there, and I'm always thankful you choose me to be yours. Do check out the Patreon over at patreon.com/GMEric. We did a new product announcement there today. We also have the YouTube channel with podcasts and GM tips every single day. If you do watch them, hit the thumbs up. Check out the dice over at gmeric.com. Those are really, really cool, and they come with their metal dice box. So check that out. And we have the one-shot on Saturday evening with Bubblazer. So come hang out. It's going to be a good time. Otherwise, guys, have a wonderful night. Please stay safe. We'll catch you guys next week for the next episode of the Trainwreck. And on Friday night, we are going to explore what else the Friday Night Lights are doing in Shatter Shaddai as Kirkatok tries to avoid Ashland Elise.
Oh boy.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Eric.
Have a wonderful night. We'll catch you guys later. Thank you, Coin. Thank you, each and every one of you, for making this an absolute delight to run. Take care,
Thanks for
everybody.
getting Damon to join us. It's
Oh,
always
yeah.
a blast.
It's always fun to have someone come in and voice act. It's always great.
That was really
Thanks,
cool.
Damon, for coming in and hanging out. For those who don't know, Damon is a former player of the Trainwreck and has done DMings for me in the past, and he is actually going to be working on the Dark Frost stuff in the coming weeks as well. So if you're familiar with what the Dark Frost stuff has been going on, I've been working with him, and he's going to be checking that out. He's going to be my first external DM who's going to get to work on it. It's going to be pretty cool.
Let's not undersell the guy. He's the former caretaker of the party.
It's true.
The original babysitter.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
now we got Sison.
Yep.